Welcome to RISE IAS and a very good evening to all the aspirants who have given this year's UPSC exam and also to everyone who have gone through the question papers. As you know, this year's prelims has been a big relief for everyone. Given the past year prelims experiences, this year's question paper was very doable, was very manageable, and the questions were from the topics that are more or less conventional. And this applies to almost every subject, be it geography, be it history, be it economics, or any other. Today I am here to discuss history papers, and there will be other faculties who will take over. Now, coming to the history section of this paper, in history for prelims there are certain topics that are very repetitive, and we can see a pattern which is followed almost every year. And this year also the same pattern has been maintained. For example, there are certain topics. For example, there are certain topics like Buddhism, Jainism, Vijayanagar Empire, then acts and policies. These are very repetitive topics, and this year also there were questions from these topics. So anyone who had gone through NCERTs and also a quick revision from Lucent would have been able to solve these questions, as well as definitely the notes that I give in my class. Now let us begin the discussion. First question that we see was from the political parties. There are names of various political parties that are given. Now this question is from modern. Now if you have gone through the previous year prelims papers, you would realize that very few questions were asked from modern Indian history. Okay, either there were one question, or there were two questions, or there were no questions at all, and also very few questions that were asked from medieval India. So this year there has been one question from medieval India and at least 3 questions from modern Indian history. So people who are generally good with modern Indian history go through this book called Spectrum, and if you would have gone through Spectrum very well and revised it very well, you could have answered this question. Now the first, and this question is according to set A. Okay, so when I am saying question number 73, this applies to question number 73 of set A. Now the first question says, consider the following pairs, and it has given the name of the party and its leader. The first one is Bharatiya Jana Sangha. Now Bharatiya Jana Sangha is something from which the Bharatiya Janata Party has originated. Okay, it was founded by Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee. Then we have the Socialist Party, the Congress for Democracy. Now the Congress for Democracy, this was a party that was actually founded during the times of emergency that was imposed by Indira Gandhi. See, there are many questions. Some questions are conventional, some questions are non-conventional. This question can be said to be a little moderate to difficult question, because generally we skip about some kind of factual, kind of facts. So I have just given this. I have given an explanation of this on the board. You can go through this. First, this Bharatiya Jana Sangha, it was a political party founded by Shyama Prasad Mukherjee in 1951. It was a response to the Indian National Congress. Before independence, during independence, there are many political parties which come up. Even now, there are many political parties which come up. And what is the purpose of political parties coming up? All political parties have one or few leaders. All of these leaders, they come together and find a party. Why? To pursue a certain kind of ideology. For example, this Bharatiya Jana Sangha was there in response to the ideologies of the Indian National Congress. Next is the Socialist Party. Again, the Socialist Party was founded by people like Jai Prakash Narayanan, Ram Manohar Lohia, and Acharya Narendra Dev. Very easy, because we study it as a part of the nationalist movement. So this party was basically formed with a vision that when India gets independence, what kind of India do we want to build? So they wanted India, the new India that was to be built on socialist lines. Next thing we come up is the Congress Party for Democracy. As I said, it was founded during the time of emergency imposed by Indira Gandhi. Next we have the Swatantrata Party. Swatantrata Party, again, it is very interesting because on one side we have the Socialist Party. On the other side, we have the Swatantrata Party, which is focusing on, or rather it is a reaction to the socialist ideas. See, C. Rajagopalachari, basically what he wanted was that we have to follow, okay, we are following socialist ideas, but he was in favor of free enterprise. So to put up his ideas and views, he established the Swatantrata Party. Now let us move to the next question. Now the next question is, with reference to ancient India, Gautam Buddha was generally known by which of the following epithets? Epithets are basically kind of adjectives to define a person. Okay? Or kind of here in context of this question we can say that it is kind of the other name that is given to Gautam Buddha. So this is an easy question because mostly in my class notes as well as if you read the NCERTs you will find reference to this. Here the answer to this question is Sakya Muni and Tathagata. And as I told you, from Buddhism and Jainism every year there is one question, so this is the same trend that has continued. Correct answer is option B. So I have also mentioned some of the epithets that are used or some of the other names of Mahavira, who was a founder of Jainism, because maybe this year they have asked Buddhism or Buddha, maybe the next year or the year next to the next year they might ask this question. So the entire point of going through the previous year questions or going through the questions that are asked by UPSC is to get an idea of what type of questions are asked. Okay, so I have tried to include some kind of additional information as well. So Mahavira, his father was, or rather he belonged to this Janatrika tribe. Then he was known as Nigantha, Nyayaputta and Samana. And Lord Buddha, his father actually belonged to the Sakya clan. He was associated with the Sakya clan and that's why he was also known as Sakya Muni, Tathagata, Gautama and Siddhartha. Moving on to the next question. Yes, this question is, consider the following information. Now, in order to solve this question, this is factual. Definitely this is factual. We cannot call it easy. It can fall into a little difficult category or a moderate category. Why I am saying a little difficult? Because it is factual. Now, from where would you get the answer? You would get it from NCERT class 6 and old NCERT of class 11. Okay. So any kind of, see, every time I repeat in my class itself, prelims, when we are going to give prelims, the motive is not to top the exam. Our motive is to clear the cutoff. So what we should definitely do is कि मेरे competitor को जो आता है वो तो मुझे आना ही चाहिए. So your competitors, what they are doing? All the serious aspirants, they study class 6 NCERT and I am talking about history. Okay, ancient Indian history. For ancient Indian history, they study class 6 NCERT, class 11's old NCERT and also some follow Tamil Nadu books. So it is best to keep your resources limited. What I would suggest is go through the NCERTs and there is a book called Lucent. You can just use that book for revision. Okay, and if you have time, definitely go through this, and rest definitely I give class notes, so you have to join my class. Okay, coming to this. So it's a factual question. You can directly see we can directly move on to the explanation. So here they have mentioned 4 sites. One is Chandraketugarh. Chandraketugarh, in the options they had mentioned Odisha. So Chandraketugarh is actually associated with West Bengal. It is located in West Bengal, and they had mentioned that it was a port town. See, this is mostly known for its terracotta. Definitely it was also associated with port town, but mainly it is known for its terracotta findings. Next we have Imangaon. This is very easy because anyone who knows about these sites, Chalcolithic sites, you should definitely know that it is a very important Chalcolithic site and it is found in Maharashtra. Next we have Mangadu. Mangadu is basically in Kerala and it is known for its megalithic sites. And then we have Salihundam. Salihundam is in Andhra Pradesh and it is known for Buddhist settlements. Okay, in the option it was, in the question it was caves. Just a second. In the question it was rock cut cave shrines. Okay, so the answer is not rock cut cave shrines. The answer actually is Buddhist settlements. It is very beautiful. Actually, you can go and see either you can go and visit or you can definitely see the images. Okay, pictures. They are very beautiful. Okay, moving on to the next question. Yes, the next question. See, I told you from Vijayanagar Empire, if you consistently see, there have been questions. Every year there is a question. So, this again, the answer is Krishna Dev Raya, and the question is definitely from the Vijayanagar Empire. He belonged to the Tulava dynasty. question is, who of the following rulers of medieval India gave permission to the Portuguese to build a fort at Bhatkal? Okay, the permission was given by Krishnadevaraya, and if you are doing this Vijayanagar Empire, the most important king of the Vijayanagar Empire is Krishnadevaraya, one of the most important kings, and it is just kind of a saying among aspirants that if you see Krishnadevaraya in an explanation, then put a tick mark. Okay, don't go by this. I'm just telling you as a kind of popular elimination. Okay, don't, if your answer is wrong, we are following this trick. Don't come and catch me. Okay, now the thing is, the explanation, it was in the year 1510 that Krishnadevaraya of the Tulava dynasty, he signed a treaty with the Portuguese which permitted the second Portuguese governor Albuquerque to build a fort at Bhatkal. Now let me tell you an interesting fact about Albuquerque. I think all of you have heard about Alfonso mangoes. All of you have heard about Alfonso mangoes. So Alfonso mangoes, it has a very interesting story. It is said that the Portuguese, when they came to India, they were very amazed by this unique fruit that they found here, and they wanted to take it back to their country. Now how will they take it back to their country? Because it's a perishable item. It used to perish on the way. So they decided to create a variety. That variety would be sweet, as well as the more time passes, it would get harder and it would not get spoiled. So this is how Alfonso was created. Now once the mango is created, you have to give it a name. So whenever you have superiors, you try to impress them. So they decided that we will try to name it like Alfonso, because the full name of Albuquerque was Alfonso the Albuquerque. Okay, this is an additional information. Now this year again there was a question on cashew nuts, and I think cashew nuts, papaya and all that. This information is given in class 12 NCERT. Okay, so these are kind of extra informations, you don't know when the question is going to come. So again, this is just for some additional interesting facts. Okay, so I have just mentioned some additional names, that the other Portuguese travelers who basically came during his reign were Domingos Pios and Barbarossa. Moving on to the next question. Yes, this is a very easy question. With reference to the revenue collection by Cornwallis, consider the following statements. The first statement is, under the Roythwari settlement of revenue collection, the peasants were exempted from revenue payment in case of bad harvest. See, whenever you find a question, ऐसा बोलते हैं, ठीक है? Let me just say something in Hindi. ऐसा बोलते हैं कि जो सबसे सीरियस स्टूडेंट होता है ना एग्जाम में, उसको भी श्योर शॉर्ट बस 30 to 40 क्वेश्चंस पता होता है. By श्योर शॉर्ट I mean कि out of A, B, C, D, when he sees the options, he knows exactly this is the answer. Okay, the rest of the questions, maybe he will know 2 options, maybe he will know 1 option. Okay, so this is something, some of the easy questions, that at least the easy questions that are there in the paper, you should definitely know. Okay, not all questions are meant to be attempted, because definitely there are some questions that are purposely put in the paper so that you get negative marking. अब जैसे कुछ extremely weird question आ गया, ठीक है, extremely factual, extremely weird kind of question, so you are expected to leave those questions, and this is an easy question, definitely you should not have left this question. Now yes, now the why I said this thing, that if you don't know, for example, if you know 1 point or if you know 2 points and you are stuck that whether other 2 points are right or not, in that case you have to use your mind and your additional knowledge that you have acquired from your previous readings. So this is one such question, that if you did not know this point number 1, what you could have done is the Britishers, they were mostly focused on getting money. They were not here to do social service. So why will they exempt someone from revenue payment in case of bad harvest or natural calamity? There were so many protests in India that have happened, so many famines that have happened during the British Empire, mostly because of the bad attitude of the Britishers and the least concern that they had. So this option is wrong. Next is, under the permanent settlement in Bengal, if the zamindar failed to pay his revenues to the state on or before the fixed date, he would be removed from his zamindari. So this is true, because there was something called the sunset law, and it was that if you cannot pay before sunset of that particular date which was pre-decided, then you would be removed and that land would be auction. Okay, so this is about this question. Let us see the explanation. Okay, in the explanation what I have mentioned is about the three systems of land revenue: Royatwari system, Mahalwari system and the Zamindari system. Now, when the Britishers they came to India, they were confused that what should be the process through which we will collect the revenue. Should it be the traditional system that is followed, or should we remove the middlemen from between, or should we collect the taxes directly from the people? So they decided, let us experiment. So first thing that they introduced was the Zamindari system. Now when they brought in the Zamindars, they made the Zamindars as the owners of property. See, Zamindars were there even before the British, but those Zamindars were never owners of the land. The British actually made them owners of the land, and they fixed the amount of revenue. For 10 years you take this land, it is your land, you can do whatever you want, and you have to give me at the end of the year or at the end of the kind of date that was decided, you will have to give me this much amount of revenue. Okay, so and it was expected. Why did they bring the Zamindari system? Because unko laga that if we fix a certain amount, then what will happen? The Zamindar, he will, if for example there is more harvest, then the extra money is going to go to the Zamindar, because usko to mujhe ek fixed amount dena hai, isn't it? So they expected that under this Zamindari system, the Zamindar will kind of do some improvement in the soil. He will add more fertilizers, or maybe he will dig irrigation canals, or basically water management, etc. in his field, but that did not happen. So when they saw that the Zamindari system failed, so they decided that let us, in some other portion, Zamindari system was introduced in Bengal, Bihar, Odisha and Varanasi, basically some parts of eastern UP. So when they saw that this system failed, so they thought that in other areas, let us bring about a kind of different system. So what was the different system? First then another experiment was this Royatwari system. Royat basically means the cultivator. What they thought was, let us remove the Zamindars. Zamindars are middlemen between the peasant and the government. So they decided, let us remove the Zamindars, let us directly collect the taxes or the land revenue from the peasants. So again this system failed because the people who were collecting the revenue, they were kind of torturing the peasants and all. So this system also failed. So they again thought of experimenting in a different way. They said, ki chalo, we will not collect from this individual Royat. What we will do is, we will consider the entire village as one unit. Okay, and we will fix कि इस village से, let us assume we will get around 50,000 rupees. Okay, they will fix one person as the head from which they are going to collect 50,000 rupees, and it was expected that this particular person who was the head of the village, he will divide the rent among the people based on their capabilities. Okay, so these were some experiments and all of them were a failure. Moving to the next one. Okay, the next question is, consider the following statements. There are no parables in the Upanishads. Upanishads were composed earlier than the Puranas. Now, the question on Upanishads, UPSC is definitely asking questions on Buddhism. Okay, but if you analyze the recent trend, it is also asking questions from Vedas. It is also asking questions from Indian philosophy. Okay, in between it had stopped asking questions from this field, but now again it is reviving questions on Indian philosophy. So here this question is based on that. See, every Veda, we know there are 4 Vedas. Now every Veda is divided into, all of the Vedas are divided into 4 parts. Just like a book ka 4 part hota hai. Every Veda is divided into 4 parts: Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka and Upanishad. So what are Samhitas? Samhitas basically are mantras and hymns. Rig Veda mostly contains mantras and hymns, especially hymns. So Samhitas contain mantras. Brahmanas contain the rituals, that what is the ritual that should be followed in order to utter those mantras. Then we have Aranyakas. Aranyakas are simplified forms of those rituals, as well as Aranyaka means forest. It also has some aspects related to magic and a kind of those aspects. And Upanishads are the most important because they consider the philosophy. मतलब होता है ना, हर चीज के पीछे एक philosophy, the reason or the actual thinking behind why that particular Veda was written. Okay, so Upanishads contain the philosophical aspects of the Vedas, and if Upanishads are part of the Vedas, then definitely Puranas came later. So Upanishads came first and Puranas came later. Okay, so this is there, and the first statement is also correct. Moving on to the next question. This question is, who was the provisional president of the Constituent Assembly before Dr. Rajendra Prasad took over? This is a very factual question, so there is no need for a complete explanation here. I have just written the explanation. You can pause and you can read it through. So it's nothing. Before Rajendra Prasad, basically it was he who took over, Dr. Sachidananda Sinha. Now moving on to the next question. Again, with reference to the Government of India Act 1935, consider the following questions, following statements. I can assure you, standing here, that every year there will be one question from acts, okay, based on the previous trends. Every year there is one question on acts. Sometimes it is Act of 1813, sometimes it is this Government of India Act of 1919, sometimes it is this year it is 1935, and so on. So two marks are definitely confirmed if you read the acts. See, we are here discussing the paper, but it is your job at the end of the day to, sit with the papers of the previous years and then compare. Not today itself, take a break of like a few days, 2 or 3 days, and then if you are feeling after going through the analysis and all that there is a high probability of you going to clear the prelims, because see, somehow we know that what is the expected cutoff. This year we can say that the cutoff definitely is going to be above 90. Okay, this is just a rough prediction. So if you feel that you are going to clear prelims, then do something. Start preparing for your mains. Don't wait for the prelims result to come out and then you will sit and prepare for mains. Okay, don't do that. And for all those who are going to appear for prelims the next year, please sit with previous 10 years papers and try to figure out the areas from which the questions are coming. Make a kind of note of those topics and prepare those topics in specific. This year again the trend has revived. Okay, so this is your homework that you should do. Now coming to this is again a very easy question. The Government of India Act of 1935. This act, as we know, tried to introduce diarchy at the center, and again here it divided basically the subjects. Okay, okay, so this is a bit broken. Anyways, it tried to bring about 3 lists: the federal list, the provincial list, and the concurrent list. And the subjects actually were into subjects where there were some things that were reserved for the governor, and defense and external affairs were something that was reserved. Now coming to you can actually go through this. You can pause and go through this. Okay, this is very easy, so I am not discussing it again in details, because there are other faculties also who have to take over, and the question is, we have 100 questions to discuss. Okay, now which one of the following is a work attributed to playwright Bhasha? See, NCERT definitely is a source, but sometimes we have to move one step beyond NCERT, but it is definitely after we complete NCERT. Okay, so you can go through Tamil Nadu book, as I said. After completing the NCERT, you can go through Tamil Nadu book, and in the NCERT itself, if you find some books and the names of their writers, note it down in one place. Okay, this is the basic homework that you should do. And here, which one of the following is a work attributed to playwright Bhasha? It is basically this Madhyama Vyah Hoga. Okay, this is the answer. It is a factual question. Let us see the explanation. Yes, so Kavya Lankar, this book basically deals with poetry, the qualities of a poet, and the various aspects that a poet should be aware of. Next is Natya Shastra, very famous. Natya Shastra. Acha, one thing again, there are some questions that you can also use elimination. Okay, this question could have been solved by elimination. देख के ऐसा लग रहा है ना कि factual question है, but it is expected at least ये वाला point and ये वाला point, तो you should know. This has already been asked by UPSC 2 or 3 years back, right? So at least you could have eliminated these 2 options if you had no idea about this answer, and then you could have tried to pressurize कि अगर कभी पढ़ा होगा तो. Anyways, so coming back to the explanation. So Natya Shastra, Bharat Muni, and various aspects of dance, music, etc. Then we have Madhyama Vyoga. This is actually the answer. This is by Bhasha, and this is a type of Sanskrit play. इसको याद रखना. It is a type of Sanskrit play that focuses more on heroism. जहाँ पे हीरो पे बहुत ज़्यादा फोकस होता है, मैस्कुलिनिटी पे बहुत ज़्यादा फोकस होता है, and little attention is actually paid to the to the other aspects like romantic aspects, feminine aspects and so on. And this again Mahabhashya of Patanjali. Mahabhashya of Patanjali, it is a commentary on the Sanskrit grammar book, that is जो इसके पहले लिखा गया था, अष्टाध्यायी of Panini. Okay, moving on to the next question. Yes, this again is a factual question. Sanghabhuti, an Indian Buddhist monk who travelled to China at the end of the 4th century AD, was the author of a commentary on. ठीक है, again this relates to Buddhism. Now if you didn't know the answer to this, you could have skipped this. As I said, there are some questions that are technical, you can skip, but again it was doable if you have read the NCERTs and Tamil Nadu book. The answer to this is, and how you could have eliminated. ठीक है, Buddhism say there was a question in the year 2017, if I am not wrong, in 2017 prelims, that was based on सर्वस्तिवाद. ठीक है, यहाँ पर देखो again they have said the same thing, सर्वस्तिवाद, वहाँ पे पूछा था सर्वस्तिवाद. तो इतना अगर प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन मैंने बोला कि थोड़ा बहुत सॉल्व करना चाहिए, ठीक है, तो अगर वो क्वेश्चन जाके सॉल्व किया होता खुद से बैठ के, उसके कहीं पे नोट्स बनाए होते, सो यू वुड हैव नोन कि सर्वस्तिवाद जो है, ठीक है, इसके बारे में अलग अलग एस्पेक्ट जो भी इससे रिलेटेड है वो अपने नोट्स में आपके पास होते. बाकी तो मैं क्लास में करवा देती हूँ. सो द आंसर टू दिस इज सर्वस्तिवाद. तो एलिमिनेट करके भी ऐसे किया जा सकता था, जस्ट इन अ वर्स्ट केस सिनेरियो. ओके, ट्राई फर्स्ट, यू शुड ट्राई टू डेफिनेटली नो द आंसर. ओके, एंड देन इफ यू आर फीलिंग एट द एंड कि नो आई हैव, मैंने बहुत कम अटेम्प्ट किया है, देन यू हैव नो अदर चॉइस बट टू गो फॉर दीज काइंड ऑफ टिप्स एंड ट्रिक्स. एंड प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस, एज आई से अगेन, there is no replacement of previous year questions. Moving to the next question. Yes, and this is the last question of history discussion. It is, consider the following. There are three names that are given: cashew, papaya, and red sanders. Red sanders, cashew, papaya, and red sanders. तो इसमें ये ना ऐसे में चलते फिरते इन क्लास में I give these kind of references. Let us move to this explanation. इसमें you will find many things that we eat today. Like I can confirm that even in the entire day, whatever you had today, definitely there must have been one vegetable, one fruit or any item that is not native to India. ठीक है, even chilies, see this, even chilies are not native to India. Chilies were introduced, chilies are actually native to Mexico. ठीक है, ये कहाँ मिलेगा? ये NCERT में दिया हुआ है, बिपिन चंद्र NCERT में ये तुम्हारा दिया हुआ है this question. See, lady's finger has come to India from Egypt. This tobacco introduced by the Portuguese, potato in Portuguese, pineapple, papaya. Even I think here they have not mentioned even cauliflower. Cauliflower is also introduced from Britain. Okay, that is also not very native to. That is also not native to India. So these are some interesting facts, and they have been mentioned in the NCERTs. So I hope this discussion was helpful to you. In case you have any doubts, you can definitely ask in the comment section, and I will try to answer those questions later. Now I would like to hand it on to the next faculty.
Hello everyone, this is Megha Agrawala. I welcome you all to Rice IAS. Today we are going to discuss the UPSC 2024 Prelims question paper. So the my section will be, I will be discussing a few questions on current affairs and obviously the government schemes. So before going into that, if we look into this year's section specifically from current affairs and government schemes, it was not very difficult. It was moderate to easy kind of questions. The pattern UPSC has repeated of asking a few schemes, few questions in the current affairs from international, whatever situations are going on, like maybe the Sahel region and all of this. Let's see today that the first question, okay. So the first question is, which one of the following is the correct description of 100 million farmers, okay. So this is a kind of a question which was not a very routinized question from the current affairs or something like that, but if we look into the options, definitely we can find the solution, okay. So let me go through the options first. The first option is, it is a platform for accelerating the transition towards the food, water systems that are net zero, nature positive, and that aims to increase farmers' resilience, okay. So the next option is, it is an international alliance and a network of individuals and farming organizations interested in supporting and strengthening the development of organic animal husbandry, okay. I'm underlining the keywords here. Next is, it is a digital platform fully integrated with service providers and built on blockchain, okay, that let buyers, sellers and third parties trade fertilizers quickly and securely, okay. The last option is it is a platform with the mission of encouraging the farmers to form farmer producer organizations or agribusiness consortiums, thus facilitating the access to global open markets to sell their products, okay. Before telling you all the answer, let me first tell you that how do we reach, okay. If you look into the description, so we have 100 million farmers, okay. When we talk about 100 million farmer, it is basically talking about a kind of a organization that will bring farmers together, okay. So here basically, what are the problems currently that we are facing in agriculture, okay. So the agriculture sector today is facing the issue of climate change. We want the kind of crops that are resilient to the climate. We want the kind of agriculture which is a smart climate based agriculture, okay. So if you know the current trend, there is the option A could be a possibility, okay. Besides that, the another option which is D option, okay, which talks about to form farmer product organization can also be an answer. But if you compare between both of them, the more possibility looks like A, okay, because of the current trend, okay. Because forming a farmer product organization is not like listening like we are accommodating farmers, because it is an organization which can be formed by farmers according to the choice which they want, okay. So the first answer to this question is this one, 100 million farmers. It is being formed by World Economic Forum. We all know about this organization, very important. In the last few years, UPSC has repeatedly asked about this organization. World Economic Forum, it's a non-profit organization and it works in a lot of sphere, including the climate change. If you look into the option, it is talking about we want a transition towards food and water systems that are net zero carbon, okay. So, their basic aim is to achieve net zero carbon by 2030. Okay, this is the basic goal, and they are going to allow farmers to adapt to the climate change, to allow them to adapt to the growing, the changing agriculture pattern, okay. So the answer to this question is A. If you find this on the World Economic Forum's page, okay, and that is from where UPSC has picked it, okay, with the general idea also that this is the current issue, ongoing issue with the agriculture, we could have come to this answer, okay. Okay, let's see another question. Okay, so this question is a very easy question, okay, like easiest I would say in the paper this time, okay. So the question is the total fertility rate in an economy, okay. Now, from which section are we getting such kind of questions, okay. So see, you have population section, okay. Population is a part of study in geography, in Indian society also, okay. So this is something that you basically deal in the basic concepts of NCERT, okay. Here at RICE, we insist student that we have to read NCERT. In NCERT, if I'll mention class 12th Sociology NCERT, okay, the first chapter which talks about demographic transition has this topic of total fertility rate, okay. If someone has done the basic NCERT, then 2 marks is for sure, okay. So the total fertility rate, okay, the answer is D. It is the average number of live birth a woman would have by the end of her childbearing age, okay. So fertility rate has become an important issue, specifically in India. Recently also a lot of reports were released by Lancet India, okay, which says that in upcoming year, mostly by 2050, the fertility rate will be 1.8 nearly in India, okay. So if the fertility rate is going to reduce 1.8, what will be the implications for the economy of the country, for the society of the country, okay. So this is something that we need to ponder on from mains perspective, okay. But from prelims perspective, it was a very, very easy question, okay. So UPSC is not always asking tough questions, okay. And this year also UPSC has asked a lot of easy questions, but of course tough questions were also a part of it, okay. So this is the question, okay. Let's move to another question. Okay, so this question is about an organization which you might have never heard, okay. It's about International Grains Council, okay. So let me first read the question to you people. So the question is, consider the following statement. Okay, whenever you try to solve a question, let's first look into this correct or incorrect, okay. This is very important because sometimes we can miss, it can be correct or incorrect. So here it is asking about the correct statement. Okay, so the first statement is India is a member of International Grains Council. Okay, and the next is a country needs to be a member of International Grains Council for exporting or importing rice and wheat. Okay, so let's look into the question in a way if I would have not known what the answer is. Okay, so if we look into the first statement, India is a member of International Grain Council. Okay, so first thing in your mind will be, okay, I have never heard about International Grain Council. Okay, but again, why will India not be a part of it? It is simply an organization that is talking about grains. And in recent year, India has done a lot of, development when we talk about export in terms of grain, in terms of rice, pulses and all of this, okay? So it is a possibility that yes, India would be a member, okay? It's not that you will know all the international organization which India is a part of, okay? It's not possible, okay? So you have to take a hunch that why will India not be a part? There is no harm in being a part of an organization like this, okay? So from the I'm telling you from a perspective in which you can guess the answers even if you don't know, okay? Now let's come to option 2, okay? Just read the option 2. A country needs to be a member of this council if we want to export or import rice and wheat, okay? Do you think is it possible? For example, if a country is not part of International Grains Council, will it not be allowed to export or import? Have you ever heard this? When we prepare for UPSC in last, maybe for 1 year, 2 year, you realize that such kind of questions are very vague, okay? Because such kind of possibility is not there. Internationally, if there would be such kind of organization which will govern the import and export, then definitely we will know about it, okay? So if we don't know about it, and also this statement seems very, something that is not very usual, okay? That we need, because if you mandatorily impose something on a country, it will become very difficult worldwide, okay? So the second statement definitely is wrong, okay? That is, a country needs to be a member of International Grains Council is definitely wrong, okay? Now, if you see the options, if we know that option 2 is wrong, okay, let's cut B, okay, let's cut both, okay. Now we are left with 2, one only and neither, okay. So here you have to take a guess. In UPSC exam also we do that. Even if we don't know the answer, at questions in which we are able to eliminate 2 options, we definitely, take a risk, okay. So here the best risk would be to go for this, yes, India is a member, okay. So the answer here is 1, okay. So now let me tell you about International Grains Council. So India is a member of this council, okay. International Grains Council, it works with respect to the grain export, import, development, okay, with respect to rice, pulses and all of this. And recently in 2023, there was a meet of International Grains Council, and that is why it was in news and current affairs, okay. So it's not possible for you to prepare all of this in advance, but if you have a kind of knowledge about the several events going on in the country, and if you read newspapers regularly, and if you have done your syllabus properly of GS, definitely you develop that kind of aptitude which is needed to solve such kind of questions, okay. So most of the question can be solved on the basis of knowledge with the right implication of aptitude, okay. So this is one such kind of question, okay. Let's move to another question. Okay, so the next question again is a part of same population thing which we did, the fertility rate one, okay. And this is something that we read in Indian Society of Mains, and we read in geography as well, okay. So let me first take you through the question. The question is, consider the following countries, okay. The countries name are Italy, Japan, Nigeria, South Korea and South Africa, okay. Now let us see what UPSC is asking, okay. It is asking you that which of the above countries are frequently mentioned in the media for their low birth rate, okay, and aging population or declining population, okay. So if you are going through newspapers regularly, and if you just have a hunch, okay, if you see these countries, okay, Italy, Japan, Nigeria, South Korea, South Africa, if you read just the basic NCERTs, you will come to know that Japan is one such country where definitely there is aging population, okay. Because when we read about the pyramid, theory also, we read about Japan, okay. So we will definitely know that yes, Japan is one such country where there is aging population. That is why in Japan, the people are also committing a lot of suicide. And also, for your information, in Japan, there is also Ministry of Happiness, okay. So this is the situation in Japan because the people are aging and they're feeling isolated, okay. So if we look into this, the first thing which you can be very sure about is Japan, which is from your basic knowledge, okay? And also recently India has become the highest populous country, so from there also we know about this, okay? So if you see, let's take into option 2. If we know option 2, okay, you can easily eliminate 2 options, okay? We can cut across B and we can cut across D. Now we are left with 2 options, and as I said you, when we have 2 options, you have to take the risk, okay? So now we have option A and option C. Now let's see. See, you cannot always see the question and come to the answer. Sometimes you have to see the options also, okay? So if you see, you have 1, 2, 4 and 2, 4. So be sure 2 and 4 is correct, okay? So in 4 you have South Korea, okay? Now the only confusion is left with Italy, okay? So yes, you have to take a risk, and yes, the answer is A, which is 1, 2 and 4. Italy, Japan and South Korea. Okay, Nigeria cannot be, okay, it has increasing population, okay, and South Africa definitely, you know, this both are not going to ever have for recent years aging population, okay. So the answer is 1, 2 and 4, okay, and if you go through the tally also, you will realize that, you know, Italy has the highest amount of the aging population. After that you have Japan, and then you have South Korea, okay. The fertility rate is also very less in case of all these 3 countries. By checking the data, I've come to know this, ठीक है. तो ये बहुत बेसिक क्वेश्चन है, और ऐसे क्वेश्चंस को हम एग्जाम में बिल्कुल मिस नहीं करते हैं. ये ऐसे क्वेश्चंस होते हैं जो आपको एग्जाम में ब्राउनी पॉइंट्स दिलाते हैं, ठीक है. अगर आपको ऐसा लग रहा है कि दिस क्वेश्चंस यू आर नॉट एबल टू गेस राइट, यू नीड टू डेफिनेटली वर्क ऑन द बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग, ओके. इफ यू डू एनसीईआरटीज प्रॉपरली and if you're reading newspapers on a regular basis, okay, तो definitely ये questions easily solvable है, okay. Okay, and also in the class while taking Indian society, हम continuously ये discuss करते हैं कि किस तरीके से इंडिया का population trend है, क्योंकि इंडिया इस साल highest populous country बन चुका है, ठीक है. और जब highest populous country कोई country बन जाता है, तो उसके लिए जानना बहुत ज़रूरी है कि दूसरे देशों में क्या चल रहा है, what is going on in the other countries. So we definitely have to look into Japan, we look into China, okay. So this is a trend, okay. Okay, so I think that is clear. Let's move into next question. Okay, so next question is current affairs as well as polity related, okay. So it was about delimitation commission, okay. Just take a minute and think, where did you find this delimitation commission in news, okay. So see, one thing is there, obviously this is an election year, okay, so we definitely have delimitation commission always in news. But besides that, recently the government of India introduced a bill, okay, which was Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam bill, which is for the reservation of women in the parliament and the state legislative assemblies, okay, the 33% reservation bill. During that time, this commission was very much in news, okay, and you will be surprised to know the bill which I'm talking about, which will become act in recent years, has also been asked this year by UPSC. So you can understand that any such significant event that takes place, it can be a bill which has a lot of implication on some vulnerable section like women, okay, or it can be something that has been in news time and again, which UPSC tends to ask, okay. So we have to prepare such basic things, okay. So this question is, how many times delimitation commission has been constituted by the government of India till December 2023, okay. So the answer is direct to this question, it is 4, okay. If you see the website, it has been 4 times delimitation commission has been formed. The next time it will be formed in 2026, okay, and after that only in the next election we can implement the bill, which I will talk to you about later in this slide, okay. So in the last time it was formed in 2002, okay. I hope it is clear. It is also a polity based question. You find it in Lakshmikant also. But even if you had read articles about Nari Shakti Adhiniyam, and a lot of times Indian Express Hindu were repeating this, even in my class I have discussed about delimitation commission with the students. So definitely such kind of questions give you marks, okay. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Okay, so this is a very direct question, a one word question, okay. It is asking you about operation, okay. See, in such kind of question, either you know the answer or you don't know, okay. In such kind of question, you cannot always take a risk, okay, that you can go with a guess, okay. But let's first read. It can be possible that by reading the question also we can come to the answer, okay. So the question is operations undertaken by the army towards upliftment of the local population in remote areas to include addressing of their basic needs, okay. So this operation is undertaken by the army, okay, and it is for the upliftment of local population, okay, and in the remote areas, and this addresses their basic needs. Okay, be very clear, we're talking about basic needs, we're talking about upliftment of local population, the army doing it. Okay, so if you see, we have Operation Sankalp, okay, we have Operation Maitri, and we have Operation Sadbhavna. Okay, if we look into Operation Sankalp, for example, we don't know. Okay, Maitri, somewhere you will know, it's kind of an exercise, it's like a kind of a friendship. Maitri matlab hota hai friendship, right? So here army is not doing any kind of friendship with the upliftment. Okay, if you look into next, it's Operation Sadbhavna. Okay, you're having a kind of feeling that you want to do something good for someone. Okay, and next is Operation Madad. Madad, you already know, a helping hand. This is Operation Madad is basically providing the humanitarian aid or something with respect to other countries, which India does. Okay, so this you can eliminate. Okay, Maitri you can eliminate, we are left with this. Okay, संकल्प मीन्स अ काइंड ऑफ अ प्रण, जैसा हम हिंदी में बोलते हैं. ठीक है, तो ये दोनों में आप कंफ्यूज हो सकते हैं, लेकिन काफी न्यूज में रहा है विथ रेस्पेक्ट टू जम्मू एंड कश्मीर. द आर्मी हैड लॉन्च्ड दिस प्रोग्राम. ओके, एंड द आंसर इज ऑपरेशन सद्भावना. ओके, इफ यू लुक इनटू दिस, वी हैव ऑपरेशन सद्भावना. ओके, दिस ऑपरेशन इज वन which the army under which the army tries to connect with the local population to address their basic needs. Okay, so it was in news with respect to Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, so you can come to the answer also, but in such kind of questions, play very safe. Okay, let's move to the other question. Okay, another, the favorite part of UPSC. Okay, you see Turkey, Sudan, Argentina. UPSC has been loving these countries last year also, last 2 to 3 years, and these are those kind of question excuse me, which UPSC can always ask, and it is something that you can solve by reading newspaper regularly. You don't need to prepare notes and everything, because हमेशा न्यूज़पेपर में ये चलता रहता है. ठीक है, ये ऑनगोइंग क्राइसिस है. अगर आपने कभी भी इसको पढ़ा होगा, पेपर में रिपीटेडली दिखाता है. ठीक है, लेट मी टेल यू. ओके, लेट अस सी द क्वेश्चन फर्स्ट. सो इट इज द फेवरेट पार्ट, द मैचिंग द पेयर्स. ओके, इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस में जब भी करंट अफेयर्स का क्वेश्चन आता है तो यूपीएससी मैच द फॉलोइंग उसका फेवरेट पैटर्न है. ठीक है, और मुझे ये लगता है कि सबसे ज्यादा मार्क्स मैचिंग अगर कुछ है तो वो यही है. ठीक है, तो फिर लुक इनटू द कंट्री, यू हैव फर्स्ट अर्जेंटीना. अर्जेंटीना के सामने दिया हुआ है कि क्या रीजन है कि ये कंट्री न्यूज में था. ठीक है, लास्ट ईयर अगर आप देखेंगे तो यू हैव दिस basically about Chad, Mali and Sudan, all of this. Okay, which was in news. Okay, so this year also we have Argentina, Sudan and Turkey. If we talk about Argentina, the option is given worst economic crisis. Okay, if we about Sudan, this is given war between the country's regular army and paramilitary forces. Okay, the third is the Turkey, it rescinded its membership of NATO. Okay, देखो पहली चीज तो ये है कि आप अगर देखेंगे, आपको करेक्टली मैच पूछा है, राइट, कि कितने पेयर्स हैं जो इसमें से करेक्टली मैच है. ठीक है, तो पहली चीज तो ये है कि ये ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, नॉर्थ अटलांटिक ट्रीटी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, हमेशा न्यूज में रहा है 2 साल से. ठीक है, जब से रशिया यूक्रेन वॉर चल रहा है, ये तब से न्यूज में है. तो बेसिकली हमको ये तो पता है कि भैया कोई ऐसा कंट्री नहीं है कि जिसने इसका मेंबरशिप को रिनाउंस कर दिया है. तो टर्की वाला ऑप्शन जो इज एंटायरली रॉन्ग. ओके, इट कैन नेवर बी ट्रू कि टर्की ने उसका मेंबरशिप छोड़ दिया. अगर ऐसा कुछ होता तो 10-15 दिन तो न्यूज में आता. ठीक है, तो बी वेरी श्योर अबाउट वॉट यू हैव रेड. ओके, सो हियर यू सी ऑल 3 का पेयर्स हम काट देते हैं. ठीक है, नाउ कमिंग टू द फेवरेट सुडान. ओके, तो यूपीएससी का फेवरेट है. इसमें लास्ट ईयर अर्थक्वेक भी आया था, उसके बाद साउथ सुडान में क्राइसिस भी चल रहा है. ठीक है, और ये यूपीएससी का वैसा ही सेक्टर है. ठीक है, तो यहां पर यू हैव द ऑप्शन इज वॉर बिटवीन कंट्रीज रेगुलर आर्मी एंड पार्लियामेंट्री फोर्सेज. सो दिस इज करेक्ट. एवरीवन नोज सुडान इज गोइंग थ्रू दिस क्राइसिस सिंस लास्ट सो मेनी इयर्स, एंड दिस इज अ करेक्ट ऑप्शन. ओके, दिस इज राइट. ओके, एंड अर्जेंटीना. ठीक है, तो अर्जेंटीना तो वर्स्ट इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस से गुजर ही रहा है, न्यूज में रहता ही है. ठीक है, तो ये तो हमको पता ही है. तो इसका आंसर इज ओनली 2. अर्जेंटीना एंड सुडान का जो ऑप्शन है वो सही है और ये गलत है. ठीक है, तो बेसिकली अगर आपने पेपर पढ़ा हो, अगर आप पढ़े भी, अभी से भी अगर आप पढ़ेंगे 1 साल, नेक्स्ट ईयर जब एग्जाम है, तो ये ऐसे क्वेश्चन है जो इजिली हो सकते हैं. ठीक है, सो द ऑप्शन हियर इज ओनली 2 पेयर्स. ओके, लेट्स सी द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. ओके, So this is again see this question, if you know you know, if you don't know you don't know, ठीक है. इसमें मैं आपको कुछ नहीं बता सकती हूँ कि आपको कोई एप्टीट्यूड लगेगा या गेस लगेगा या फिर कोई ट्रिक लगेगा या भगवान आके बता देंगे, ऐसा नहीं होता है, ठीक है. तो ये पता होगा तो पता होगा, नहीं पता होगा तो आई वुड से लीव इट, ओके. बट लेट्स ऑब्वियसली सी, ओके. The statement, this is a new pattern which UPSC has followed since last year, ठीक है. लास्ट ईयर तो आपको पता है UPSC ने काफी डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन बनाया था, पैटर्न चेंज कर दिया था, ठीक है. इस साल थोड़ा सा UPSC ने इजी टू मॉडरेट बनाया है, ठीक है. नॉट वेरी टफ बट या इजी टू मॉडरेट. अ टू बिट ऑफ टफ क्वेश्चंस इज अ पार्ट ऑफ UPSC, ओके. उसको इग्नोर नहीं कर सकते. बट ये कहीं ना कहीं न्यूज में इतना तो नहीं था. लास्ट 1-2-3 साल पहले था, 2021 के अराउंड, ठीक है. तो इट्स टॉकिंग अबाउट अ पाइपलाइन, ठीक है. सम्ड पाइपलाइन, ठीक है. ध्यान से देखो नाम, ठीक है. सम्ड पाइपलाइन, ओके. तो द स्टेटमेंट 1 इज आस्किंग सम्ड पाइपलाइन इज अ स्ट्रैटेजिक रूट फॉर पर्शियन गल्फ ऑयल एंड नेचुरल गैस शिपमेंट्स टू यूरोप, ठीक है. सेकेंड स्टेटमेंट ये बोल रहा है सम्ड पाइपलाइन कनेक्ट्स रेड सी एंड मेडिटरेनियन सी, ठीक है. Okay, this is what the question is. Now let's look into the option. Which one of the following is correct in respect to the above statement, ठीक है. So the first statement is both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct and 2 is the correct explanation, okay. ये UPSC का पैटर्न है इसीलिए मैं बता रही हूँ, ठीक है. ऑप्शन बी पूछ रहा है both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct but statement 2 does not explain statement 1, ठीक है. ये दोनों सही है भैया बट इसको एक्सप्लेन नहीं कर रहा है, ठीक है. 3 की बात हम करेंगे, स्टेटमेंट 1 इज करेक्ट बट 2 गलत है, ठीक है. एंड लास्ट में है कि स्टेटमेंट 1 इनकरेक्ट है और 2 सही है, ठीक है. तो इसका आंसर तो है ए, दोनों ही स्टेटमेंट सही है और इसका करेक्ट एक्सप्लेनेशन है, ठीक है. देखो ऐसा तो कोई ट्रिक नहीं है बट कुछ आई वॉज जस्ट लुकिंग इनटू इट, ठीक है. सम्ड जो वर्ड आ रहा है ना, इसमें 2 चीजें हैं. एक तो है स्वेज कैनाल और एक है मेडिटेरेनियन, ठीक है. तो यहाँ देखो क्या लिखा हुआ है, मेडिटेरेनियन, ठीक है. तो थोड़ा सा अगर हम गेस करें तो देखो एग्जाम में नहीं हो पाता है पॉसिबल बट कभी कभी दिमाग लग जाता है. कई बार UPSC में ऐसे क्वेश्चंस आते हैं कि आप आंसर के थ्रू पहुंच सकते हैं बट फिर भी नो इट वाज अ डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन. डेफिनेटली इट इज मोर ऑन द फैक्चुअल साइड, तो रिस्क नहीं ले सकते बट फिर भी, ठीक है. स्वेज कैनाल, मेडिटेरेनियन सी, ठीक है. तो इट इज करेक्ट, ठीक है. ये स्ट्रैटेजिक रूट है, ठीक है. जो पर्शियन गल्फ के ऑयल से रिलेटेड है, ये स्वेज कैनाल से भी कनेक्ट करता है, ठीक है. स्वेज गल्फ से भी कनेक्ट करता है और ये जो पाइपलाइन है रेड सी और मेडिटेरेनियन सी को कनेक्ट करता है, ठीक है. अब रेड सी और मेडिटेरेनियन सी हमेशा न्यूज में रहता है ना. रेड सी तो अभी न्यूज में था क्योंकि हाउथी रेबल्स ने वो अटैक कर दिया था, ठीक है. तो ये सब बेसिक चीजें कुछ कुछ तुमको करनी चाहिए बट थोड़ा सा फैक्चुअल है, ठीक है. तो इसका आंसर है ए, दोनों स्टेटमेंट सही है और सेकेंड इज द राइट एक्सप्लेनेशन ऑफ 1, ओके. ओके, लेट्स मूव ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. ओके, ठीक है. चलो ये क्वेश्चन देखते हैं, ओके. द क्वेश्चन इज सेम स्टेटमेंट बेस्ड क्वेश्चन, ओके. स्टेटमेंट बेस्ड क्वेश्चन में क्या होता है ना, आपको दिमाग शांत रखना पड़ता है. अगर आप थोड़ा सा भी यहाँ पर घबराएंगे तो हो सकता है कि गलत हो जाए क्योंकि यहाँ पर कई बार पढ़ने में इनकरेक्ट करेक्ट मिस्टेक हो सकता है, ठीक है. तो एग्जाम में और ये क्वेश्चन क्या होता है ना कि ईजी भी होता है, ऐसा नहीं कि बहुत टफ होता है. अगर आप थोड़ा सा सोचें तो यू कैन ईजिली सॉल्व सच काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चन, ठीक है. अब देखते हैं स्टेटमेंट 1. इंडिया डज नॉट इम्पोर्ट एप्पल्स फ्रॉम यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका. अरे भैया मुझे कैसे पता चलेगा कि अमेरिका इंपोर्ट कर रहा है कि नहीं कर रहा है, ठीक है. और एप्पल ही क्यों लिखा है और यूएसए क्यों लिखा है? अगर इंपोर्ट नहीं करना है तो हम कहीं से इंपोर्ट नहीं करेंगे, ठीक है. ठीक है, चलिए देखते हैं, ठीक है. नहीं पता है स्टेटमेंट 1, ओके. लेट्स मूव इनटू स्टेटमेंट 2. स्टेटमेंट 2 अगर हम देखेंगे तो वी हैव इन इंडिया the law prohibits the import of genetically modified food with the approval of a competent authority, ठीक है. स्टेटमेंट 2 देखिए, बेसिकली हर एक UPSC एस्पिरेंट को ये पता होता है कि भैया जेनेटिकली मॉडिफाइड फूड हम इंडिया में नहीं लेकर आ सकते अपने मर्जी से. कल मैं जाऊं कहीं से और ले आऊं, ऐसा पॉसिबल नहीं है, ठीक है. डेफिनेटली एक अथॉरिटी होती है, उसका नाम है फसाई, ठीक है, फूड सेफ्टी एंड स्टैंडर्ड अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया. इसके अप्रूवल के बाद ही यू कैन इंपोर्ट एनी काइंड ऑफ जेनेटिकली मॉडिफाइड फूड, ठीक है. अगर ये आपको पता होता, ठीक है, तो लेट्स ट्राई टू एलिमिनेट, ठीक है. स्टेटमेंट 2 इनकरेक्ट, ये ठीक है गलत है, स्टेटमेंट 2 तो करेक्ट है, ठीक है. अब देखते हैं कि स्टेटमेंट 2 डज नॉट एक्सप्लेन स्टेटमेंट 1, ठीक है. तो एक्सप्लेन तो कोई भी हिसाब से नहीं कर रहा है, ठीक है, कि इंपोर्ट बैन है और जेनेटिकली मॉडिफाइड है. दिस ऑप्शन ऑल्सो यू कैन गेट थ्रू. नाउ Let's look into the first statement itself. India does not import apples from United States of America. ठीक है, तो जनरली अगर आपको पता होगा कि अगर ऐसा कुछ होता कि इंडिया ने कहीं से इंपोर्ट को बैन कर दिया होता, ठीक है, तो वो बहुत न्यूज में कंट्रोवर्शियल रहता और चलता. ठीक है, अगर आप जनरल कॉमन सेंस दिमाग को शांत रख कर अगर ऑप्शन सॉल्व करेंगे तो ये बिल्कुल ही गलत है. ठीक है, इंडिया इंपोर्ट्स और इवन इंक्रीज भी हुआ है इंपोर्ट. ठीक है, तो ये गलत है. तो स्टेटमेंट 2 जो है वही सही है. ठीक है, तो स्टेटमेंट 1 इज इनकरेक्ट एंड स्टेटमेंट 2 इज करेक्ट इज द राइट आंसर फॉर दिस. ओके, आई होप आई एम एबल टू मेक यू अंडरस्टैंड कि नॉलेज तो आपका ठीक है, नॉलेज तो होता ही है. जब आप 1-1.5 साल पढ़ाई करते हैं, 1.5 ईयर्स या 2 ईयर्स देते हैं, आप एनसीईआरटीज पढ़ते हैं, स्टैंडर्ड बुक्स करते हैं, क्लासेस करते हैं, ठीक है, आंसर राइटिंग करते हैं. ठीक है, ये सब कुछ हम लोग राइस में भी करवाते हैं, सब कुछ करवाते हैं. ठीक है, आंसर राइटिंग मीन्स डिस्कशन एवरीथिंग. सो इसके बाद आप इतने कॉम्पिटेंट तो हो जाते हैं कि आप नॉलेज के साथ राइट एप्टीट्यूड यूज करें. ठीक है, तो ये सब जो बेसिक चीज हम डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, अगर हो सकता है कि आप बिगिनर है तो आपको नहीं समझ में आ रहा हो, लेकिन व्हेन यू डू द प्रिपरेशन, जिन लोगों ने मेरे साथ प्रिपरेशन किया है, डेफिनेटली दे एग्री टू दिस आइडिया. ओके, ठीक है, लेट्स मूव ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. ओके, अनदर फेवरेट टॉपिक ऑफ यूपीएससी, यूरोपियन कंट्रीज, यूरोपियन यूनियन. ठीक है, तो यूरोपियन पार्लियामेंट काफी न्यूज में रही है 2 चीजों की वजह से. एक तो यहां लिखा हुआ ही है और एक मैं बताती हूँ, बिकॉज ऑफ फ्रेमिंग अ लॉ ऑन आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस. ठीक है, पहली वैसी कंट्री है जो फ्रेम कर रही है, तो इसीलिए यूरोपियन यूनियन न्यूज में भी था. और ये तो बिल्कुल हिंदू इंडियन एक्सप्रेस में इतनी बार पढ़ा है हमने. ठीक है, तो आप देखिए स्टेटमेंट, अगेन स्टेटमेंट बेस्ड क्वेश्चन, इजी क्वेश्चन, डुएबल क्वेश्चन, थोड़ा सोचेंगे तो कर पाएंगे. ठीक है, the statement 1 is asking the European Parliament approved the Net Zero Industry Act recently. Very true. ठीक है, बहुत ज्यादा न्यूज में था कि यूरोपियन पार्लियामेंट ने बोला है कि वो नेट जीरो टारगेट को मीट करेंगे. Just tell me in the comments that what is the net zero carbon target for for India. इंडिया में कब तक हमने सोचा है कि हम नेट जीरो कार्बन को अचीव करेंगे. ठीक है, नाउ लेट्स कम बैक. इफ यू लुक अबाउट द यूरोपियन पार्लियामेंट, ठीक है, यूरोपियन पार्लियामेंट ने यस इसको अप्रूव किया है रिसेंटली. वेरी ट्रू स्टेटमेंट. लेट्स लुक इनटू द सेकंड स्टेटमेंट. ओके, द सेकंड स्टेटमेंट इज द यूरोपियन यूनियन टेंड्स टू अचीव कार्बन न्यूट्रलिटी बाय 2040. ठीक है, and therefore aims to develop all of its own clean technology by that time. ठीक है भैया, ठीक बोल रहे हैं, लेकिन बात यह है कि are you sure it's 2040? ठीक है, यूपीएससी कई बार ऐसे टारगेट बेस्ड जब भी स्टेटमेंट्स देता है कि 2040, 2070, 2050, तो गलत ही होता है, और ये भी गलत ही है अकॉर्डिंग टू द ट्रेंड. ओके, सो द आंसर इज स्टेटमेंट 1 इज करेक्ट. ओके, एंड स्टेटमेंट 2 इज इनकरेक्ट. लेट्स गो विथ ऑप्शन सी हियर. ठीक है, आई होप इट इज क्लियर. ठीक है, यूरोपियन पार्लियामेंट काफी प्रोग्रेसिव है. आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस को लेकर भी वो अभी एक्ट लेकर आई थी. ठीक है, कैसे रेगुलेट करेंगे, आपको पता है इंटरनेशनली अभी आवर प्राइम मिनिस्टर इज ऑल्सो गॉन टू G7 where he was talking about artificial intelligence. ठीक है, तो काफी इंपॉर्टेंट है और हर साल ही न्यूज में आता है. यूपीएससी का फेवरेट टॉपिक है, तो कभी भी ऐसा नहीं है कि इंटरनेशनली कुछ चल रहा है तो वो इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. ठीक है, अगर ऐसा कुछ है जो इंटरनेशनली कहीं ना कहीं इंपैक्ट डालता है, जैसे कि ये जीरो इंडस्ट्री एक्ट है, ठीक है, जिसमें कार्बन न्यूट्रलिटी की बात हो रही है, तो डेफिनेटली वो एग्जाम पर्सपेक्टिव से इंपॉर्टेंट होता है. ठीक है, चलो लेट्स लुक इनटू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. ओके, अगेन अनदर क्वेश्चन, द फेवरेट टॉपिक ऑफ यूपीएससी, अर्जेंटीना, वेनेजुएला. ठीक है, तो देखते हैं सेम स्टेटमेंट बेस्ड क्वेश्चन. ओके, सो फर्स्ट इज स्टेटमेंट 1. रिसेंटली वेनेजुएला हैज अचीव्ड अ रैपिड रिकवरी फ्रॉम इट्स इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस. ठीक है, एंड सक्सीडेड इन प्रिवेंशन ऑफ इट्स पीपल फ्रॉम फ्लीइंग और एमिग्रेटिंग टू अदर कंट्रीज. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट देखते हैं स्टेटमेंट 2. स्टेटमेंट 2 में इफ यू सी, वेनेजुएला हैज द वर्ल्ड्स लार्जेस्ट ऑयल रिजर्व्स. ठीक है, तो कंफ्यूजन ये आपको हो सकता है कि भैया अगर किसी कंट्री के पास वर्ल्ड्स लार्जेस्ट ऑयल रिजर्व है तो कैसे वो इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस में जाएगी. बट ये सच है. ठीक है, वेनेजुएला बहुत टाइम से इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस से गुजर रही थी, बट रिसेंटली इट हैज रिकवर्ड. बट अ रैपिड रिकवरी सीम्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट. ठीक है, रैपिड रिकवरी का मतलब अचानक से रिकवर हो गई है और पूरी तरीके से उसने सक्सीड हो गई है कि वो लोग वहां से एमिग्रेट नहीं कर रहे हैं. ठीक है, तो ये थोड़ा सा डिबेटेबल है. ठीक है, ऐसा पॉसिबल नहीं कि कोई कंट्री देखो ग्रो कर रही है, डेफिनेटली वेनेजुएला का जो ग्रोथ है वो बहुत अच्छा है, ठीक है, बट इट्स नॉट वेरी रैपिड, ठीक है। स्टेटमेंट 2 जो है वो बिल्कुल सही है, वेनेजुएला का वर्ल्ड्स लार्जेस्ट ऑयल रिजर्व है, इसीलिए ही ये सब चीजें यूपीएससी की फेवरेट है ना। और ये कैसे पता चलता है? प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन पेपर करके। जब हम प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन पेपर करेंगे आपको रिपीटेडली सूडान, अर्जेंटीना, ठीक है, साउथ अफ्रीकन कंट्रीज, नाइजीरिया एंड ऑल दीज वेनेजुएला दिखता है, ठीक है। तो हम लोग ये बेसिक प्रिपरेशन PYQ या प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन के थ्रू प्रिपेयर करके रखते हैं, ठीक है। तो इसका आंसर डेफिनेटली द सेकंड स्टेटमेंट इज राइट एंड द फर्स्ट इज रॉन्ग, ठीक है। सो वी आर गोइंग विथ, ओके, सेकंड इज राइट, ओके, एंड दिस इज रॉन्ग, ओके, वी आर गोइंग विथ ऑप्शन डी, ठीक है। ओके, नाउ द थिंग इज दैट स्टूडेंट्स कीप्स आस्किंग अस, ठीक है, ओके, दैट विथ रेफरेंस टू प्रधानमंत्री सुरक्षित मातृत्व अभियान, ठीक है। तो देखिए ये जो क्वेश्चन है ना, एक यूपीएससी हर साल 2 क्वेश्चन स्कीम से पूछती है, ठीक है। लास्ट ईयर उन्होंने पूछा था फ्रॉम अनीमिया मुक्त भारत, जो भी वुमेन से रिलेटेड है, और आपको पता है कि इन इंडिया नियरली 57% ऑफ वुमेन, ठीक है, एज पर नेशनल फैमिली हेल्थ सर्वे 5 आर अनेमिक, ठीक है, और बढ़ते ही जा रहा है ये, ठीक है। तो कहीं ना कहीं वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट इशू था उस वक्त, तो यूपीएससी ने अनीमिया मुक्त भारत पे क्वेश्चन पूछा था। इस साल देखिए प्रधानमंत्री सुरक्षित मातृत्व अभियान, ठीक है। तो हमेशा स्टूडेंट्स को हम बोलते हैं कि कहीं ना कहीं यू नो we always have questions from vulnerable section अगर हम देखें तो आप देख सकते हैं वुमेन से क्वेश्चन आएगा, शेड्यूल कास्ट से आएगा, शेड्यूल ट्राइब से आएगा, फिजिकली डिसेबल्ड से आएगा, उनके स्कीम्स पूछता है यूपीएससी, बिकॉज एज एन ऑफिसर टुमारो आपको इनके साथ ही डील करना है, ठीक है, इनके स्कीम्स को इंप्लीमेंट करना है, ठीक है। तो ये क्वेश्चन बहुत ईजी भी है, जब भी हम मेंस की तैयारी करते हैं, देखो प्रीलिम्स और मेंस का अलग तैयारी नहीं होता है, साथ में होता है, ठीक है। तो डेफिनेटली ये सब ईजी क्वेश्चन है, लेट्स सी, ठीक है। हर साल यूपीएससी 2-3 स्कीम्स पूछता है, ओके। द फर्स्ट ऑप्शन इज this scheme guarantees a minimum package of antenatal care services to women, okay, I'm marking the keywords to get antenatal care, okay, in their second and third trimester, ठीक है, and 6 months post delivery, ठीक है, देखो 6 months post delivery in any government health facility, ठीक है, ये पहला स्टेटमेंट है, ओके। सेकेंड स्टेटमेंट इज अंडर दिस स्कीम private sector healthcare providers of certain specialties can volunteer, okay, to provide services at nearby government health facilities, ठीक है। अब देखिए फॉर एग्जाम्पल, देखो नाम से समझ में आ रहा है प्रधानमंत्री सुरक्षित मातृत्व अभियान, ठीक है, किड्स फॉर द मदर्स, है ना, एंड टू सिक्योर समथिंग टू द मदर्स, ठीक है। अब ये बोल रहा है, लेट्स लुक इनटू द फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट। फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट ये बोल रहा है एंटीनेटल केयर है, ठीक है। तो पहले तो एंटीनेटल केयर और पोस्टनेटल पता होना चाहिए, ठीक है। एंटीनेटल का मतलब होता है बिफोर द बर्थ ऑफ द चाइल्ड, ठीक है। तो ये बोल रहा है कि ये स्कीम एक मदर को मिनिमम पैकेज देता है बिफोर द बर्थ ऑफ द चाइल्ड ड्यूरिंग द सेकेंड एंड द थर्ड ट्राइमेस्टर। चलो आपको नहीं पता है, हमें नहीं पता है कि भैया नहीं पता है कि सेकेंड और थर्ड में है कि नहीं। उसके बाद पूछ रहा है 6 months पोस्ट डिलीवरी, ठीक है। एक तो आप यहाँ बात कर रहे हैं एंटीनेटल की और आप फिर बोल रहे हैं पोस्ट डिलीवरी भी देगा, तो थोड़ा सा कॉन्ट्राडिक्टिंग है ना, क्योंकि देखो यूपीएससी कई बार करता है स्टेटमेंट्स में वो कॉन्ट्राडिक्टिंग स्टेटमेंट डालता है, तो यहाँ वही दिख रहा है ना। पहले तो आप एंटीनेटल केयर की बात कर रहे हैं और फिर आप बोल रहे हैं पोस्ट डिलीवरी हेल्थ केयर, ठीक है, ओके। चलो ये हमको नहीं पता, लेट्स लीव इट, ओके। लेट्स लुक इनटू द सेकंड वन, ठीक है। अंडर दिस स्कीम प्राइवेट सेक्टर हेल्थ केयर प्रोवाइडर्स कैन वॉलंटियर, कर सकते हैं भैया, क्यों मना करेंगे हम। कोई प्राइवेट सेक्टर हेल्थ केयर का स्पेशलिस्ट है और वो वॉलंटियर करना चाहता है नियर बाय गवर्नमेंट हेल्थ में, तो ज्यादा दिमाग नहीं लगाना है, ठीक है, बिल्कुल सही है, ठीक है। वाई टू थिंक अ लॉट, ओके। सो लेट्स टेक स्टेटमेंट 2 इज राइट, ओके। अगर आप थोड़ा सा सोचे तो मैंने आपको बताया एंटीनेटल और पोस्ट डिलीवरी नहीं हो सकता है साथ में, ठीक है। तो स्टेटमेंट 1 गलत है, ठीक है। इट इज अ स्कीम अंडर मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ हेल्थ एंड फैमिली वेलफेयर, और ये फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट का फर्स्ट पार्ट राइट है, ठीक है। सी हाउ क्लेवर यूपीएससी हैज बिकम, ठीक है। यहां तक सही है ये स्कीम, ठीक है, कि मिनिमम पैकेज हम लोग देते हैं इन दी सेकेंड एंड थर्ड ट्राइमेस्टर, बट द अदर पार्ट इज गलत, रॉन्ग, ठीक है। तो थोड़ा सा एग्जाम में ध्यान देना है कि 2 स्टेटमेंट्स जोड़ के बना रहा है तो पक्का कुछ ना कुछ होगा इसमें, ठीक है। तो वी हैव टू लुक इनटू ऑल दीज, ठीक है। सो द आंसर इज बी, ओके, 2 ओनली, ओके। सो आई होप इट इज क्लियर, okay. The next one again is a scheme, okay, very famous one. It is with reference to the Digital India Land Records Monetization Program, ठीक है। Let's look into the statement, ठीक है। The statement में पूछ रहा है to implement the scheme, the central government provides 100% funding, ठीक है, कि central government की 100% funding होती है, okay. नेक्स्ट, अंडर द स्कीम द कैडेस्ट्रल मैप्स आर डिजिटाइज्ड, ठीक है, हो सकता है ना, क्यों नहीं होगा, डिजिटल इंडिया की बात कर रहे हैं तो क्यों मैप को डिजिटलाइज नहीं करेंगे, ठीक है। नेक्स्ट 3 देखते हैं, इट्स एन इनिशिएटिव हैज बीन अंडरटेकन टू ट्रांसलिटरेट द record of rights from the local language to any of the languages recognized by the Constitution of India, ठीक है। तो पहला चीज तो ये देखना है कि भैया Constitution of India में we have 8 schedule, right, 22 languages, तो वो बोल रहा है कि सिर्फ लोकल लैंग्वेज में नहीं होगा, बल्कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में जो 22 लैंग्वेज है उसमें भी लैंड रिकॉर्ड्स अवेलेबल कराई जाएंगी, तो सही है ना, वो होगा तभी ना कुछ फायदा होगा, वरना स्कीम हम क्यों लेकर आ रहे हैं अगर हम लोग को इंप्लीमेंट ही नहीं करना, अगर हम कुछ उसमें एडिशन ही नहीं कर रहे हैं जो लोगों को हेल्प करेगा, ठीक है। तो जनरली ये जो है ये सही है, स्टेटमेंट 3 इज करेक्ट, ठीक है, तो वी कैन एलिमिनेट, ओके। नाउ लेट्स लुक इनटू 2 भी मैंने बोला कि मैप को डिजिटाइज करेंगे ही, ठीक है, तो स्टेटमेंट 2 इज आल्सो करेक्ट, ओके। नाउ वी आर लेफ्ट विद दिस, नाउ सी यूपीएससी का ट्रेंड क्या है कि जहां पर नंबर दिखता है गलत होता है, ठीक है, बट हियर यूपीएससी ऑब्वियसली इज अनप्रेडिक्टेबल, ठीक है। तो ये स्टेटमेंट जो ये सही है, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट 100% फंडिंग देता है, लेकिन मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम एग्जाम में लगता है ये गलत है, क्योंकि ऐसे स्कीम्स, क्योंकि लैंड थोड़ा सा स्टेट के सब्जेक्ट में आता है, तो हमको लगता है कि स्टेट भी इसमें कंट्रीब्यूट करेगा, बट ऑल दीज 3 स्टेटमेंट्स आर करेक्ट, ठीक है। तो थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूजिंग था और कहीं ना कहीं जो थोड़ा सा हम ट्रिक वगैरह यूज करते हैं वो नहीं काम करता है, तो कभी कभार कुछ चीज हमको पढ़ना पड़ता है, वी हैव टू हैव एंटायर नॉलेज, ठीक है। तो ऑल दीज 3 आर करेक्ट, ओके। 100% फंडिंग होता है, मैप्स को हम डिजिटाइज करते हैं, और कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया जो 22 लैंग्वेजेस के बारे में बात करता है वो सब में हम रिकॉर्ड्स ऑफ राइट देते हैं, ठीक है, कि सब आपका जो राइट है लैंड के ऊपर उसके बारे में, ठीक है। उसके अलावा कोई भी डिस्प्यूट होता है लैंड के रिगार्डिंग, ठीक है, या फिर कोई भी लैंड को मॉडर्नाइज करने की बात होती है, सारी चीजें इस प्रोग्राम के अंदर आती है। बहुत फेमस प्रोग्राम है, ठीक है, इसका 3rd पार्ट लॉन्च किया गवर्नमेंट ने, ठीक है, तो जस्ट गो एंड सी वंस, इट्स अ वेरी इजी, इंपॉर्टेंट ऑल्सो, लेकिन थोड़ा सा जो ऑप्शन 1 है कॉन्ट्राडिक्टिंग था, ठीक है, बट वी हैव टू टेक अ रिस्क इन एग्जाम, ठीक है, ओके। So this is the last question, okay, the 100th question, it is again a scheme, प्रधानमंत्री श्रम योगी मनधन, ठीक है। तो क्या हुआ था जब कोविड-19 आया था ना, तो उस समय जो माइग्रेशन हुआ था उसकी वजह से गवर्नमेंट ने बहुत सारे स्कीम्स लेकर आए थे, ठीक है, एंड दिस स्कीम after that became very important. This scheme is specifically with respect to unorganized sector, ठीक है। ऑर्गेनाइज सेक्टर क्या होता है कि जहां पर कोई फॉर्मल रूल्स नहीं होता है, आपको कोई सोशल सिक्योरिटी नहीं मिलती है, ठीक है, ये वैसे लोगों को डील करता है, ठीक है। नाउ ये जो डिटेल है ना, यूपीएससी ने पहले भी पूछा हुआ, यूपीएससी ने पहले अटल पेंशन योजना पूछा था, ठीक है, उसमें भी यही डिटेल्स पूछा था। तो ऐसी जो स्कीम्स होती है विच इज गोइंग टू कैटर अ वल्नरेबल सेक्शन लाइक अनऑर्गेनाइज सेक्टर, आपको पता है कि अनऑर्गेनाइज सेक्टर हैज अ ह्यूज कंट्रीब्यूशन टू द इंडियन इकोनॉमी, भले ही वो अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड है बट बहुत सारे लोग वहीं एम्प्लॉयड है, ठीक है, तो पता होना चाहिए हमको, ये बहुत ही फेमस स्कीम है, ठीक है। तो देखते हैं क्या यूपीएससी ने पूछा है। It has asked about the first question, the entry age group for enrollment is in the scheme is 21 to 40 years, ठीक है। अब एग्जाम है, इतना बड़ा नहीं याद होता है, ठीक है, चलो लेट्स सी कि ये नहीं याद है, ठीक है। लेट्स लुक इनटू ऑप्शन 2। ऑप्शन 2 में है एज स्पेसिफिक कंट्रीब्यूशन शैल बी मेड बाय द बेनिफिशियरी, ठीक है ना, क्योंकि एज स्पेसिफिक कंट्रीब्यूशन देगा, किसी का अगर 21 साल है तो वो कम देगा, 40 है तो ज्यादा देगा, अपने हिसाब से, अपने अर्निंग के हिसाब से देगा, अपनी एज के हिसाब से देगा, ठीक है। तो स्टेटमेंट 2 हमको नियर बाय ठीक लग रहा है, ठीक है, तो वी कैन एलिमिनेट। देखो बी वेरी एक्टिव है ना, यू हैव टू कीप एलिमिनेटिंग, ठीक है। उसके बाद है ऑप्शन 3, ईच सब्सक्राइबर अंडर द स्कीम शैल बी रिसीव अ मिनिमम पेंशन ऑफ 3000 पर मंथ आफ्टर अटेनिंग द एज ऑफ 60 ईयर्स, ठीक है। हो सकता है नहीं पता है, बट कोई भी अगर ये स्कीम पढ़ता है सबसे पहला ओपनिंग स्टेटमेंट यही होता है, ठीक है, तो बेसिकली ये पता होना ही चाहिए, ठीक है, बट ठीक है अगर नहीं भी पता है तो लेट्स लुक इनटू द लास्ट। फैमिली का जो पेंशन है वो स्पाउस को भी मिलेगा और अनमैरिड डॉटर्स को, ठीक है। तो सेम काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चन वाज इन प्रीवियस ईयर, अटल पेंशन योजना, ठीक है। तो ये जो है ये गलत है, सिर्फ स्पाउस को मिलेगा, ठीक है, तो ये हो जाता है एलिमिनेट, ठीक है। ये भी गलत है, यहाँ है 18 ईयर्स, ठीक है, देखो मैंने तो देखा है एग्जाम के लिए, लेकिन आपको लर्न करना पड़ेगा, ठीक है, मैंने तो पढ़ाया भी है और पढ़ा भी है, ठीक है, बट फॉर द रियल एग्जाम यू डेफिनेटली हैव टू प्रिपेयर सच काइंड ऑफ टॉपिक, ठीक है. सो इफ यू से दिस इज रॉन्ग, दिस इज राइट, तो 2 और 3 होता है हमारा आंसर, दैट इज बी, ठीक है. तो यही होता है, ठीक है. दिस इज फ्यू क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम करंट अफेयर्स एंड माई सेक्शन ऑफ इंडियन सोसाइटी विच वी डील विथ राइस IAS, ठीक है. राइस में हम ये सब पढ़ाते हैं एंड वी डील विथ NCERT, ओके. So I hope it's clear. So now I will hand it over to Chandan Jha sir. He will take over for economics and science and tech. Okay. Thank you. I hope the session was helpful. Thank you.
Hello everyone. This is Chandan Jha. I'm going to discuss the questions from economics and science and technology section. So starting from the first question, we are dealing with set A. So this is question number 11 from set A. It says, consider the following airports: Doni Polo Airport, Kushinagar International Airport and Vijayawada International Airport. In recent past, which of the above have been constructed as greenfield project? So even in FDI also we have studied foreign direct investment, that greenfield and brownfield projects. When something is starting from the scratch, we are completely inaugurating a new project. At that time we call it greenfield project. And if we are starting from existing project, at that time we call it brownfield project. So here in question we talk about, UPSC says about greenfield project. So greenfield project in recent past, these are the key terms that we have to focus upon. So this Doni Polo Airport and Kushinagar Airport, these are the two new airports which have been approved by Government of India as greenfield projects, while Vijayawada International Airport is already operationalized. So therefore our answer will be 1 and 2. So the correct answer is A. So going to the next question, here you see 4 concepts are given: battery storage, biomass generators, fuel cells, rooftop solar photovoltaic units. Now how many of the above are considered distributed energy resources? DER. What does it mean? Distributed energy resources are helpful for, first of all, utilizing the energy which is being generated, and after the utilization we can redistribute it to the DISCOM. So with that concept if we go, then all these 4 given phrases will follow this distributed energy resources. Thus all 4 will be the answer for this question. So from science and tech, so far 2 questions we have, this first question we have got from science and tech, and it's almost direct, so we don't have to read much as compared to like previous years questions of UPSC. Looking to the next one, here as you see, radioisotope thermoelectric generators. Now in nuclear technology you must have studied about nuclear fission and fusion. Now this technology deals with nuclear fission. Now here these are RTGs, are miniature fission reactors. It was recently in news for the purpose of space exploration. Means we are using this technique in order to equip the aircrafts, so that aircrafts will get the energy sources even for their own missions of space explorations. And because of its lightweight and small size, it will be helpful for us and it will be helpful for fuel efficiency and for covering long distances in space exploration. Thus statement number 1 goes with this concept of RTG. Coming to the second statement, RTGs are used for powering the onboard systems of spacecraft. So as we have already discussed about it. So therefore statement number 2 is also correct. Coming to the third one, here UPSC has played. RTGs can use plutonium-238, which is a byproduct of weapons development. This statement about weapons development is quite confusing for a lot of aspirants. So I was going through various reports upon it. Then in one report of USA, your government of USA, and NASA, they jointly published. Over there, they have talked about that for the nuclear weapons projects, there are byproducts, plutonium-238, which is being used for the RTGs. So I would say this question should be left for the UPSC answer key, because if we go with statement number 1, 2, so 1 and 2 can be the answer. And if we go and follow that report says that in 1959, in the Manhattan nuclear project during World War II, from that nuclear weapon development process, the byproduct of plutonium-238 was used for or can be used for RTGs. So therefore, this question can create confusion. So therefore, this statement number 3 may or may not be correct, depending upon UPSC, that whether UPSC is going to consider it correct or not. So therefore, I would say option A and option D, both can be correct, 1 and 2 and 1, 2 and 3. Coming to the next question, this is the direct question here. So if you have studied general science, you will get this answer. It's a direct one. Which one of the following is synthesized in human body that dilates blood vessels and increases blood flow? So its direct answer is nitric oxide. So going to the next one, this question is again a bit controversial, because look at the question here. In how many of the above activities can the radars be used? Now radars, if you look at, so this is very common in school level also, we have studied about the radar, radio detection and ranging. But along with that, there is one more full form of radar. It's about rapid action for drug. It is a technique used by Scotland, government of Scotland, and that also says radar is used for the identification of narcotics and drug related substances. So here statement number 1. So if you go for the detailed study and reports, then statement 1 can be correct. But while if you go for the normal reports that we have studied, or so far the books available in the market, then you can neglect statement number 1. But however, I would say that this monitoring of precipitation and tracking of migration of animals, these two are obviously used, these two can be determined with the help of radio detection and ranging, radar, the simple meaning that we all know. But if we follow the report of Scotland and the new techniques which is being developed by DRDO as well, then statement number 1 will also go with this answer, because in the question it is not clearly told that which radar. Is it about radio detection and ranging, or about rapid action on drug detection? So therefore, the popular answer will be only 2, considering 2 and 3. The popular answer will be only 2. But however, this all 3 can also be the answer, but this is a minimum chance. The less chances are there that the answer will be all 3. So therefore, this will again, there are many questions we have seen throughout the year that the many institutions prepare answer keys, and ultimately we find in UPSC answer key that answers are different. So therefore, I would keep both the answers in the queue, that if we go with a simple meaning of radar, then 2 and 3 will go with this question. But at the meantime, if we go for the detailed report, because the full form of radar is vague in this question, so then all 3 can be the answer. So going to the next question. This is also direct question about aircrafts. So in recent past, it was in news that Government of India is also trying to build its own indigenous 5th generation aircraft. So far we do not have it. And if you take the example of 5th generation aircraft, then F-22. F-22 is the popular example of 5th generation aircraft. And it becomes very much popular after the incident of Abhinandan Bartaman. So so if we go with the direct like concepts and we like general knowledge, then Rafale, this one is 4.5, fifth generation, MiG-29 and Tejas Mk1. All these three are not fifth generation aircraft, fighter combat aircraft. So therefore, and in the question they have talked about fifth generation fighter aircraft. So therefore, the answer will be none, as India so far do not have fifth generation aircraft. So we are trying to build it. So coming to the next question. Here, the question says, in which of the following are hydrogels used? Controlled drug delivery in patients, mobile air conditioning systems, preparation of industrial lubricants. So the substance hydrogel, it has a tendency to absorb good amount of water molecules in it. So with the help of hydrogels, we can also, like we can give this drug delivery in patients. We can fulfill this purpose. With this hydrogel, with this substance, this is more or less like a polymer. So mobile air conditioning systems can also be built with the help of hydrogel, and at the meantime hydrogel can also be used as a lubricant. So this was in last year, it was in news for the technique, and therefore 1, 2 and 3, all three conditions which is given in the question will go with this answer. So therefore answer D will be the correct one. Option D will be the correct answer. Going to the next question. Which one of the following is the exhaust pipe emission from fuel cell electric vehicles powered by hydrogen? So in short, if we say it is hydrogen powered fuel cell. So in case of hydrogen powered fuel cell, how it works, it takes H2, this molecule, hydrogen, and along with we supply oxygen with it. And then with the help of H2 and O2, three things will be produced. Number one, electricity, heat, and along with that water, which will be emitted in the form of water vapor. H2O molecule will be emitted through this. So now look at the options. This is hydrogen peroxide, H2O2. This is hydronium. Hydronium is an ion. So, or you can say radicals. H3O positive. Then oxygen. Oxygen we have to supply. This is not emitted. Then finally option D, water vapor, H2O molecules. So final answer will be option D for this question. Going to the next one. Recently, the term pumped storage hydropower is actually and appropriately discussed in the context of which one of the following? So look at this, pumped storage hydropower. So the hint is given already in the question. Pumped storage hydropower. Let us first see the options. Irrigation of terraced crop fields, lift irrigation of cereal crops, long duration energy storage, and rainwater harvesting system. They have given this pumped storage hydropower. So let me change the color. Then we can distinguish it because the text is also in black. So pumped storage hydropower, how it works? It has two reservoirs. In school level science, we have studied that how electricity is being generated. That we have a magnetic field, in between that there will be an axle that will be rotated, and then electricity will be generated. Now how to rotate the axle in between the magnetic field, that's a challenging task. And for that we have various technologies. So the most common technology is hydropower electricity. That means in the magnetic field the axle is there. This axle is rotated through the waterfall, through the potential energy of the water. I mean to say that when water falls upon it, this turbine rotates, and finally rotating the axle in between the magnetic field. These are the magnetic fields, say North Pole and South Pole. And in this way electricity will be generated. This is the simple mechanism. So when water falls upon the turbine, then it will rotate the axle and electricity will be generated. Similarly, if we use wind energy in order to rotate it, then we say the electricity is generated through wind energy. That happens in wind turbines. Now here pumped storage hydropower, how this mechanism works, with the help of reservoir and pump, we supply water to rotate the turbine, and then electricity is being generated. So it is ultimately used for long duration energy storage, as its name suggests. That's why I say this question is a bit easy and the hint is already given in the question. So moving to the next question, membrane bioreactors are often discussed in the context of, so look at the options: assisted reproductive technologies, drug delivery nanotechnologies, vaccine production technologies, and wastewater treatment technologies. If you are familiar with newspapers and you consistently watch news, then you would have definitely answered this question. So it talks about membrane bioreactors. So membrane bioreactors. What does it mean? Here, this membrane bioreactors particularly used for wastewater treatment. How it works? We use a membrane. Through that, a thin membrane, and here the wastewater is present, and then bioreactor. So in this membrane, we have bioreactors. What is bioreactors? It is actually a mixture of bacteria and protozoa, which is being used for the wastewater treatment. So along with this thin membrane, we call it semi-permeable membrane. Semi-permeable membrane is used. Why? Because when wastewater is there and it is forced to get filtered through this membrane, then only water molecule can pass through it. Only H2O molecules. The semi-permeable membrane, this membrane is so minute, so small holes are present in that only water molecules can flow through it, thus filtering the waste materials here in the left hand side, and in the right hand side we get the clear water. Along with that, we also use bioreactors, which is, as I already told, that bioreactors are a mixture of bacteria, certain bacteria and protozoas, which are helpful to filter out the harmful particles present in the water, and thus ultimately filtering and providing the clear water. So ultimately the final answer, you must have got it. The answer is D for the membrane bioreactors. Coming to the next question. Now, with reference to the Indian economy, collateral borrowing and lending obligations are the instruments of. So I'm reading it again. So with reference to the Indian economy, collateral borrowing and lending operations are the instruments of bond market, forex market, money market, and stock market. So you see this stock market, bond market, forex market. Look at this, how easy this question. These all three options giving hint towards capital market. Capital market. In economics, you must have studied that under financial market, there are two classifications: capital market and money market. Capital market and money market. These are the two parts of financial market. So, bond, forex, stock, all these are the instruments of capital market. Then what is the concept of money market? So this is the basic economics. In money market, we deal with borrowing and lending. In money market, we deal with borrowing and lending process. And in question, it clearly says about collateral borrowing and lending obligations. Lending obligations are basically the conditions. When you are borrowing money or lending money, then between the lender and the borrower, there will be certain conditions. So prerequisite conditions, those are basically lending obligations. So therefore, the clear answer is money market for this question. So option C is the correct answer. Coming to the next question. Now this is the direct definition, nothing to explain in this question. The total fertility rate in an economy is defined as. So see, sometimes how UPSC asks the question, you might find the options are nearer or you might get confused with that, but you have to find out the best definition of the given concept. For example, this total fertility. So total fertility rate in an economy is defined as. So the best definition and the best answer that you can get it. However, have a look at the options. The number of children born per 1,000 people in the population in a year. This is not a definition of fertility rate. If you have studied the NCERTs given in class 11 and 12 level, so there you will find out the clear definition of fertility rate. So this question is again directly from the textbook. If you have studied the textbook thoroughly, you would have definitely answered this question. Coming to the option B, the number of children born to a couple in their lifetime in a given population. So if you use your common sense, then it is not possible for the surveyor to find out or to get a clear picture of the fertility rate of the country or of an area. Next, birth rate minus death rate. So birth rate minus death rate is nothing to do with the total fertility rate. So by reading the options itself, you are eliminating it. So ultimately we are left with the direct definition of the fertility rate. The average number of live births a woman would have by the end of her childbearing age. Or if you go to the NCERT, in place of childbearing age, they would have given used a different term, that till the age of her fertility. So answer will be D. D will be the correct answer for this question. Going to the next question. Consider the following statements. In India, NBFCs, non-banking financial companies, can access liquidity adjustment facility window of the RBI. Statement number 2 says, in India, foreign institutional investors can hold the government securities. Statement number 3 says, in India, stock exchanges can offer separate trading platforms for debts. Question is, which of the statements given above is or are correct? Now, if you go to the website of RBI, the eligibility for liquidity adjustment facility is given to scheduled commercial banks and primary dealers. So therefore, this NBFCs do not get that facility of LAF, which consists of repo rates, reserve repo rates. Those are liquidity adjustment facilities. Now coming to the second one, in India, FII, foreign institutional investors, can hold the government securities. This statement is correct. In India, it is allowed for foreign institutional investors to buy government securities. Coming to third number, in India, stock exchanges can offer separate trading platforms for debts. So this statement is also correct, because in stock exchanges, we do not only deal with equity, we also deal with debt instruments. So therefore, 2 and 3 will be the correct answer for this question. Coming to the next one. In India, which of the following can trade in corporate bonds and government securities? Again, a question from financial market. So in India, which of the following can trade in corporate bonds and government securities? Both are debt instruments. Remember this. Bonds are debt instruments. Government securities are also debt instruments. Now, who can trade? So for purchasing and selling of debt instruments like government securities or corporate bonds? This is direct question, like nothing to explain in this. So all three entities which is given here in the question are eligible. So therefore 1, 2 and 3. Let us see the question. Select the correct answer using the code given below. So 1, 2 and 3. All three are eligible. So option D will be the correct answer for this question. Going to the next one. Consider the following: exchange traded funds, motor vehicles, currency swap. Which of the above is or are considered financial instruments? Now, exchange traded funds, what are these? These are basket of funds basically. So which are basically financial instruments, and that can be traded. Coming to the motor vehicles. Motor vehicles is not a financial instrument. What creates confusion is currency swap. Currency swap is an agreement. It's an agreement between two countries or more number of countries. It can be bilateral as well as it can be multilateral. So this is an agreement. It is not a financial instrument. If we focus to this word, financial instrument, if you go with the definition, then it says that can be used for the trading, like which can be traded, which can be transferred from one person to another, from one entity to another. But this currency swap, this is an agreement. If the currency swap agreement is signed between two countries, say India and Japan, then that cannot be used as a trade with third country. So therefore it will not fulfill the definition of financial instrument. However, if you go to the like if you follow the vague meaning of financial instrument, that yes, why not, because this deals with financial goals of the country itself, then it can be considered as financial instrument. Then in that case, let us wait for the UPSC answer key, what UPSC is interpreting this concept of financial instrument. But for time being, I would say that only one is the best answer which goes with the asked question. So one only will be the answer for this one. Going to the second one. Next one. With reference to the sectors of the Indian economy, consider the following pairs. So have a look in the first one. Storage of agriculture produce. By the way, let us see the question. How many of the pairs given above are correctly matched? So we have to find out which are the correctly matched here in the given table. So storage of agricultural produce. So when we are talking about storage facility deals with services, and it is given secondary sector here, which deals with manufacturing, mostly manufacturing. So therefore this is not correctly matched. Going to the second one, dairy farm. Dairy farm is a primary sector. Next is third one, mineral exploration. So mineral exploration in terms of economy, in context of economy, is the primary sector, and here it is given tertiary sector. Therefore it is incorrect. Coming to the last one, weaving cloth. Weaving cloth. So this deals with somehow say manufacturing or producing new type of products. So production of new types of products. So in that case we consider it as secondary sector. So how many pairs are correct here? 1, 2. So only 2. So B will be the correct answer for this question. Moving to the next question. Consider the following materials: agricultural residues, corn grain, wastewater treatment sludge, and wood mill waste. Question is, which of the above can be used as feedstock for producing sustainable aviation fuel? SAF, sustainable aviation fuel. So basically the concept of sustainable aviation fuel says that those fuel which can be extracted using say livestock residues or agricultural residues or certain type of waste materials which will reduce the emissions and which will help us to get the or achieve the climate change goals, to deal with climate change. So that is the concept of SAF. So given 4 options here, agricultural residues, corn grain, wastewater treatment sludge and wood meal waste, all these 4 can be used for the production of sustainable aviation fuel. So option C, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4 will be the correct answer here. Moving to the next question. With reference to physical capital in Indian economy, consider the following pairs. So I'm coming to the pair part later on. So how many of the above pairs are correctly matched? Now let us look at the table here. In table we can see 2 types of concept, working capital and fixed capital. In order to solve this question, you have to understand the difference between working capital and fixed capital. What are fixed capital? Fixed capital are the assets, or you can say the equipments of an organization or an entity. So those are fixed capital. And what is working capital? Working capital are those which helps us in trade purpose. For example, currency. Even raw materials are also considered as working capital. So this is the difference between working and fixed. Now let us look at the options given. So farmer's plough, it cannot be working capital. It is an equipment. So it will be fixed capital. So therefore this is not correctly matched. Next, coming to the computer. Computer is indeed a fixed capital. Yarn used by the weaver. This is again, it is given here as a fixed capital, and which is not a fixed capital. Reason being, yarn used by the weaver is a raw material. Therefore, it will be considered as a working capital, not as fixed capital. Therefore, this is wrong. And next, petrol. Petrol is indeed considered as working capital, because petrol is often used for the trade purposes. So therefore it will be working capital. Thus we are again getting 2 pairs. So option B will be the correct answer for this question. Moving to the next one. Which one of the following words or phrases is most appropriately used to denote an interoperable network of 3D virtual worlds that can be accessed simultaneously by millions of users who can exert property rights over virtual items? This is a direct definition, and it was there in news last year. And the direct definition of metaverse. So nothing more to explain in this question, because as it is the direct one. So moving to the next one. With reference to the rule or rules imposed by RBI while treating foreign banks, consider the following statements. So let us see. And even the question is asked, which of the above statements is or are correct. So let us see. There is no minimum capital requirement for wholly owned banking subsidiaries in India. It is told there is no minimum. Even if you do not know the limit, then also it is unlikely possible that there will be no minimum capital requirement. So this statement is wrong. A minimum capital requirement of $3 billion is there. And then coming to the second one. For wholly owned banking subsidiaries in India, at least 50% of the board members should be Indian nationals. So if you go to the website of RBI, you will get the clear indications over there. So, and even such things are taught in the class also. So therefore, the statement number 2 will be correct, and statement number 1 is incorrect. So therefore, answer will be option B. Moving to the next question. With reference to corporate social responsibility rules in India, consider the following statements. And again here also, which of the statements given above is or are correct. We have to find out the correct one. So before moving to the statements, let us understand what is CSR, corporate social responsibility. What does it mean? It is told and directed to all the companies in India that 2% of their net profit, 2% of their net profit should be utilized for social responsibility. And under social responsibility, the condition is it will not directly benefit the employees or the company. It is social responsibility. It is social responsibility. You should not be confused with social security schemes. As far as social security schemes are concerned, they are directly benefiting the employees of the company, not the society as a whole. But the concept of corporate social responsibility, this says, as per the Companies Act by Government of India, it says that under this, the companies has the liability to serve the society. There should be certain expenditure which is going to help the society as a whole, not only to the employees of the company or the company itself. Now coming to the statements given here. So CSR rules specify that expenditure that benefits the company directly or its employees will not be considered as CSR activities. So definitely will not be considered, as it is benefit the company. It is benefiting the company directly or its employees. Because as per the concept of CSR itself says that the expenditure should not be as such that it is only going to benefit the company or the employees working under that company. So therefore this statement is correct. Coming to the second one, CSR do not specify minimum spending on CSR activities. So basically if there will be no minimum criteria, then companies will be independent. Then no company is going to spend any amount of money under corporate social responsibility. Then the rule itself will become meaningless. So therefore statement number 2 is wrong. However, the minimum spending on CSR activities is 2% of their net profit. That already we have discussed. So have a look here. This statement is wrong. So only statement 1 is correct. Therefore option A is the correct answer for this question. Moving to the next one. Syndicated lending spreads the risk of borrower default across multiple lenders. The syndicated loan can be a fixed amount or lump sum of funds but cannot be a credit line. Which one of the following is correct in respect of the above statements? So option A says both statement 1 and 2 are correct, and statement number 2 explains statement 1. Option B says both statement 1 and 2 are correct, but statement 2 does not explain statement 1. Option C says statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. And statement D says, option D says statement 1 is incorrect, but statement 2 is correct. So in order to find out the solution, we have to understand the concept of syndicated loan. So if the students of RICE IAS would have been attending, they would know that in class it has been discussed that syndicated loan means, in money and banking chapter, syndicated loans means when there will be the involvement of multiple borrower and lenders. Both the way it will work. That suppose a single borrower is there, but multiple lender is there. That is also syndicated loan. If there are multiple borrowers, but a single lender, then in that case also, it will be a syndicated loan. And if there will be multiple lenders and multiple borrowers, that will also be considered as syndicated loan. The concept is, in case of syndicated loan, the risk got diversified, both in context of lenders as well as borrowers. That is the concept of syndicated loan. So going to the first statement, syndicated loan lending spreads the risk of borrower default across multiple lenders. Definitely this is a correct statement. Going to the second one, under syndicated loan, what type of things are applicable? So all type of loan or the credit are possible under syndicated loan. So statement number 2 says the syndicated loan can be a fixed amount, lump sum, definitely that can be a fixed amount or lump sum of funds, and it can also be a credit line. And in the question it is told that but it cannot be a credit line. So this part is wrong in this statement, and thus making the statement number 2 itself as a wrong statement. So if you look at the options, then you see statement number 1 is correct, but statement number 2 is incorrect. So option C is the correct answer for this question. Moving to the next question. Consider the following statements in respect of the digital rupee. This about digital rupee also, since it was in news, it has been taught in the class thoroughly. To the students of Rice IAS must have attempted this question. It is a sovereign currency issued by RBI in alignment with its monetary policy. It is a sovereign currency issued by RBI in alignment with its monetary policy. Right? So this is correct statement, because the concept of central bank digital currency, CBDC, that is a new concept and it was in news. So, and that as per the concept of CBDC, central bank digital currency, it is similar to fiat currency that we have in our pockets, the physical currency that we can touch and use in our daily life. The same thing, but that is present digitally. And it's a mixture of, you can say, the concept of cryptocurrency, like bitcoins and all. Why? Because the process of creating CBDC is again based on blockchain technology. But again, this is not a cryptocurrency. The features of cryptocurrency and features of CBDC are different. The features of CBDC are similar to the fiat currency, whose value remains same, unlike cryptocurrency. In case of cryptocurrency, the value varies. It can be increased or it can be decreased. But in case of CBDC, the value remains same. As I said, that the feature is similar to fiat currency, but the process of development of CBDC is similar to the process of development of cryptocurrency. That means based on blockchain technology. Right? So coming to the statement number 1. So statement number 1 is correct. This is similar to fiat currency, thus coming under the monetary policy of RBI. Coming to statement number 2, it appears as a liability on RBI's balance sheet. So RBI's balance sheet, in case of fiat currency, it is a liability, and CBDC is similar to fiat currency. Therefore, it will be a liability of the RBI. So statement number 1 is also correct, 2 is also correct. Now coming to the third one, it is insured against inflation by its very design. So as the concept of CBDC was introduced, and it is not like it, unlike cryptocurrency whose values increases or decreases on daily basis, in case of CBDC it does not happen. Therefore, this inflation by its very design is a wrong statement. So statement number 3 is correct. So statement number 3 is correct, 1 and 2 are, statement 3 is incorrect, and statement number 1 and 2 are correct. Coming to the fourth one, it is freely convertible against commercial banks, money and cash. As the features of fiat currency and CBDC are same, therefore it is freely convertible. So 1, 2 and 4, all 3 are correct, and here statement number 3 is wrong. So thus the answer will be option D. So this is end of discussion for economics and science and technology section. Thank you. Next, the session will be continued by Manish sir, who is going to see the section of geography and environmental science. Thank you so much.
Hello and good evening. I am Manish and I will be discussing geography and environment section of UPSC CSE 2024 Prelims paper. The numbering of the question is based on set A of GS paper. So let's start with the first question itself, that is from geography part, and this question is from climatology, and the basic concept of climatology is involved here. And the question says, the statement 1 is about the atmosphere is heated more by incoming solar radiation. Here incoming solar radiation is there than by terrestrial radiation. This statement is wrong because incoming solar radiations are of high frequency and low wavelength, and these high frequency and low wavelength radiations cannot be trapped by molecules, gaseous molecules present in the atmosphere. So atmosphere is not heated by this incoming solar radiation. Statement 1 is wrong. Next statement says that carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases in the atmosphere are good absorber of long wave radiation. Yes, it is right. Carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases are capable of trapping the returning terrestrial radiations, which are long wavelength radiations having short frequency or low frequency, and that's why this statement is okay. By that analysis we can say that statement 1 is wrong and statement 2 is right, and that's why answer would be D. Statement 1 is incorrect but statement 2 is correct. Let's move to the next question, and that is again related to atmosphere and climatology. The statement 1 says that thickness of the troposphere at the equator is much greater as compared to the poles. Yes, it is right. The thickness is roughly about 16 to 17 kilometer near equator, and it is roughly near 7 to 8 kilometer near pole. So by that logic, the thickness of troposphere at the equator is much greater as compared to pole. It is a right statement. The next statement says that at the equator heat is transported to great heights by a strong convectional current. Yes, near equator the surface is heated more because of the high amount of solar radiations, and that heated surface heats the gaseous molecules there, water vapor there, and those heated and lighter gaseous molecules and water vapors are rising up, and that rise is simply termed as convectional current, and that current is reaching to the greater height because of the intense heating of the surface, and that's why the thickness is there. It is reaching to the greater height, and that's why more is the thickness. So by that logic we can say the statement 1 is okay, and the statement 2 supports the statement 1, justify the statements 1. The both statements are correct, and statement 2 explain statement 1. Apart from that, one more factor is there. Near equator the value of gravitational attraction is low than that of pole. That's why also the height is more. So two factors are there: convectional current, strong convectional current, and low gravitational force near equator, comparatively low gravitational force. These two factors are responsible for high height or greater thickness, but here it is talking about one factors. That's okay. Statement 2 is justified and properly explaining the statement 1, so we will go with the option A. Next question is about volcanic eruptions and the material released during volcanic eruptions. It says that following materials are being released, or that is pyroclastic debris, ash and dust, nitrogen compounds, sulfur compounds. Yes, all these materials are being released through volcanic eruptions. Okay, so we can go with the option D. Next question is again from climatology and the isotherm, pattern of isotherms. This question is quite tricky, and here we are talking about the month of January, the pattern of isotherm in the month of January, and we can analyze, since in the northern hemisphere, let's say it's land and it's ocean. So in northern hemisphere we have winter time, and in southern hemisphere we have summer time. During winter time, obviously if the temperature is 20 degree at land, land is cooled at faster rate during winter time than that of water body. So in water body the temperature would be relatively more than that of land part during winter time. Let's say it is 25. So 20 degree would be somewhere here, and the isotherm, when isotherm enters in the ocean from land, it bends northward.
Hello.
Yes. Hello. So the isotherm deviate to the north over the ocean and to the south over the continent. Yes, it is right. It is deviating to the north over the ocean and to the south over the continent. This statement is okay. The next statement is that the presence of cold ocean currents, Gulf Stream and North Atlantic drift make the North Atlantic Ocean colder, and the isotherms bends toward the north. Okay. Now if we consider all the currents in this statement, then cold currents obviously will decrease the temperature, and these Gulf streams and North Atlantic drifts are warm currents, so they are going to increase the temperature. So how we will conclude that whether these currents are increasing the temperature or making the ocean colder or warmer? Normally these two currents are closer to the tropical zones. So near tropic in North Atlantic Ocean we have relatively warm zone, and near pole or away from the tropics we have relatively cold zone. Okay, so two different zones are there, but as compared to other oceans or as compared to the South Atlantic Ocean, this North Atlantic Ocean is colder, and because of its coldness, low temperature, that which results into high density supported by the high salinity condition, it subsides or it goes in toward the deeper zone of the water, and that is the beginning of thermohaline circulation. Thermohaline circulation or global circulation starts from there only because of high density of the water. So in general, North Atlantic Ocean is colder than rest of the part. And isotherm, this statement is also talking about the isotherms. Here normally isotherms bends toward north, there is no doubt in that, but special cases are also there, like near Labrador currents, near Icelandic current or near Greenland current, we may find that isotherms are bending towards south. That is local variation in the pattern of the isotherms. So if we consider the local variation, then that statement is going to be wrong. And if we will ignore the local variation, then general pattern is it is bending northward, and North Atlantic Ocean is colder, relatively colder. By that logic, this statement will be okay. So I am not making a firm decision here because it's subject to interpretation. UPSC may go with different interpretations. We have two different interpretations here. So I will go with obviously C, but again, if we are considering the local variation, then only one statement will be okay. So the answer may be A or C. Moving to the next question. Which of the following countries are well known by two largest cocoa producer in the world? This is very factual in nature, and the answer would be C, Ivory Coast and the Ghana. This will be the answer. Sixth question. With reference to Himalayan rivers joining the Ganga downstream of Prayagraj from west to east, which one of the following sequence is correct? So Ganga is like this, and obviously Ghagra is there, which is joining near Chhapra. Gomti is there, which is joining near Varanasi. Gandak is there, which is joining near Sonpur, and then Kosi is there, which is joining near Khagaria. So we have Gomti, Ghagra, Gandak, and then Kosi. Gomti, Ghagra, Gandak, and Kosi. Answer would be B. Seventh question. The rainfall is, statement 1 says that rainfall is one of the reasons for weathering of rocks. Yes, it is right. Statement 2 is rainwater contains carbon dioxide in solution. Yes, it is right, and that is making carbonic acid, and that is reacting with the rock minerals to dissolve it. So these two statements are okay. Rainwater contains atmospheric oxygen. There is no doubt about that. Rainwater does contain atmospheric water. The statement 3 is also right. Now let's see the options. Both statement 2 and statement 3 are correct, and both of them explain the statement 1. Statement 1 says that rain is one of the reasons for weathering of rocks. So obviously water, oxygen is there in water, and in weathering process some rocks are oxidized also, some minerals are being dissolved also. But it's not necessary that only dissolved oxygens are going to react with the minerals. Even atmosphere is freely available in, oxygen is freely available in the atmosphere. That oxygen parts can also be reacting with the minerals. In that case, atmospheric oxygen will be participating in the weathering process along with the rainwater. So these two can be acting separately, and these two can be acting in tandem also. So statement 1 is okay. Oxygen present in the rainwater will react with the mineral, and that will obviously result into weathering. So third statement is also supporting the first statement, and by that statement 1 or the option will be A, and A will be the right option. This is about the mapping. Consider the following countries: Finland, Germany, Norway, Russia. How many of the above countries have a border with the North Sea? Here, near North Sea, we have only these two countries, Germany and Norway. Finland is obviously bordering with the Baltic Sea, and Russia is far away from North Sea. So two options are correct only, and by that our right option will be B. Ninth question. Dhuadhar, Narmada, these two things, Dhuadhar fall is near Jabalpur, Beraghat, and it is obviously formed by Narmada river. There is no doubt about that, but that is far away from the Malwa. Here, Malwa Plateau and Malwa region, these two terms are used. Malwa region is in Punjab, and Malwa Plateau is in obviously Madhya Pradesh, bordering Rajasthan also. And Dhuadhar Fall is far away from those Malwa Plateau region. If we are considering Malwa means Malwa Plateau, then also Dhuadhar Fall is roughly 500 kilometer away from the Malwa region, central Malwa regions. So by that logic, this should be wrong. Yes, these two things are in MP, Madhya Pradesh, but Malwa is in the western side of the MP, and Dhuadhar Fall, Jabalpur regions are away from those areas. Here second option is Hundru, Chota Nagpur and Subarnrekha. That is right. It is the highest fall in the Chota Nagpur regions and formed by Subarnrekha. Jarshopa, Western Ghat, it is okay, but Netravati is wrong match here. Sharavati will be the right name for the river. So only one option is okay, and that is 2, and the option will be A. Again, it's related to some places and the mountains. Central Asia, Vosges and Fold Mountain. This Vosges is at the border of France and Germany. So Central Asia is a wrong match for that. Alps, yes, it is in Europe, but it's not a block mountain, it's a fold mountain. Here North America, Appalachians and Fold Mountain, this match is right, and South America, Andes and Fold Mountain, this is right. So we have 2 right match, and for that we have right option will be B. Next question, water vapor. This question is related to water vapor. It is a gas, the amount of which decreases with altitude. Yes, it is more near surface, and as we go up, the amount decreases, and it is generally found up to the height of 18,000 feet. Above that, that is the water vapor is negligible. So this statement is right. Next statement is its percentage is maximum at the pole. No. See, water vapor will be higher at relatively higher temperature if the source of water is available. In the case of pole, the temperature is too low to allow water to be present in the atmosphere in the form of water vapor, and that's why this statement is wrong. Moisture or water vapor is related to temperature condition also. At low temperature, the amount of vapor will be low. So this statement is wrong. Only one statement is right. So we will go with option A. Next, consider the following description. Annual and daily range of temperature is low. That is the feature of a place. Precipitation occur throughout the year. That is a feature of that place. And precipitation varies between 50 centimeter to 250 centimeter. These 3 features are associated with which of the following climate? If we are considering equatorial climate, so in that case rainfall happens throughout the year. Annual range of temperature is also low, but variation in rainfall is not that high. Here too much variation is found in 50 and 250 centimeter. That's not is the case with the equatorial climate. China type of climate is not a suitable match for these conditions. Okay, and best suitable is maritime west coast climate. Why? Because this is influenced by temperate cyclones, so rainfall is happening throughout the year. Temperature variation is also very low. It is the average temperature is between 7 to 13 degrees centigrade, and the range is roughly 10 to 12 degree. Means mean it will go up by maximum 12 degree and minimum 12 degree from the mean. So from the bottom and top, the maximum range will be 12 to 14. So that high variation is not found in marine west coast climate, and the right option will be this marine west coast climate. With reference to Coriolis force, which of the following statement is correct? See, Coriolis force is directly proportional to the distance or altitude, latitude, velocity and mass also. Mass plays an insignificant role. Major factors are velocity and latitude or distance from the equator. At equator, obviously 0 latitude, 0 Coriolis force, and if velocity increases, Coriolis force increases. So now see the statement, it increases with increasing wind velocity. Yes, it is right. And it is maximum at the poles and is absent at equator. Yes, it is right. And so option will be C. On June 21st every year, which of the following latitude experiences sunlight of more than 12 hours? Generally, we experience longest day in northern hemisphere on 21st June. So, in northern hemisphere, obviously the day is going to be longer, and in that case, that will be Tropic of Cancer. And obviously, we have to select the Arctic Circle. These two parts, Capricorn is in southern hemisphere, so obviously shorter duration of day, and by that we can say D will be the option, second, Tropic of Cancer and Arctic Circle. One of the following region has the world's largest tropical peatlands. Peatlands, where obviously decomposed or partly decomposed organic matters are there, and that happens because of the waterlogging conditions. So it is generally found in those areas where hot and humid condition is there, and river basins and lowland areas are generally known for peatlands. Now the question is asking about the largest tropical peatland, and that's a factual question. The largest tropical peatland is Congo Basin. With reference to PFAS that are used in making many consumer products, consider the following statements. Obviously, PFAS is a complex synthetic chemical, and that is difficult to degrade easily. It is not degraded in nature easily. It has long life, and that's why obviously it is dangerous for the environment. Now, FPAs are found to be widespread in drinking water, food and food packaging material. Yes, it is found, and this synthetic complex chemicals are used in several packaging materials. Not easily degraded, yes, it is right, and that's why it is dangerous for environment. And since it is not easily being degraded, so it is also accumulated in some and other organisms, and that process is called biomagnification or bioaccumulation. So yes, it is also leading to bioaccumulation process. So all these three statements are correct, and option would be D. Next, consider the following: scarabs, beetles, centipedes, flies, termites and wasps. Parasitoid species are found in how many of the above kind of organisms? Only termite is not known for parasite species. Rest all four are having parasite species, and so the answer would be C. Excluding termites, rest are obviously having parasitic species. This Indian Egypt flying fox, the question is about Indian flying fox. Obviously that is damaging crops and plants, especially fruit plants, and they are generally vegetarian herbivores, and they damage tree and crops. So they are not desirable by farmers, and that's why these are obviously being eliminated from the farming areas. It means they can be killed, or they are being killed also. So they are all obviously under vermin categories. So yes, they are under vermin category in the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. And the second statement is Indian flying fox feeds on the blood of other animals. No, they are herbivores, so they are not feeding on the bloods of other animals. So statement 2 is wrong, and by that statement 1 is correct, statement 2 is incorrect. Answer is C. Organisms, cicada, froghopper and pond scatter are insects. That is pure fact. Many chewing gums found in the market are considered as a source of environmental pollution. Yes, they are the source of environmental pollution because several polymers which are similar to plastics are used for making chewing gums. Obviously, they are having some other ingredients also to give the taste. But base materials are polymers, plastics, which are obviously not going to be degraded easily in the environments, and that's why they are dangerous for the environment. So many chewing gum contain plastic as gum mixture that supports the environmental pollution statements, and by that logic statement 1 and statement 2 are correct, and statement 2 explain the statement 1. Consider the following country and animal found in natural habitat: Brazil and Indri. No, Indri is found in Madagascar. Indonesia, elk is found in North Central Asia, Siberia and North America. So this match is again wrong. And bonobo, this is found in Democratic Republic of Congo. Bonobo is found in Democratic Republic of Congo, and here the match is with Madagascar. So this is also wrong, and the right option would be D. All three matches are not okay. Next question is, lion do not have a particular breeding season. Yes, it is right. Lion can breed throughout the year, over the years. Okay, so there is no particular fixed time. Unlike most other big cats, cheetah do not roar. Yes, it is right. Cheetah purr. So that's kind of vibrating sound emitting from the mouth and body. So cheetahs do not roar. And the third, unlike male lions, male leopards do not proclaim their territory by scent marking. That is wrong. They do have sense of territory, they mark their boundaries, and they love isolation. So that statement is not wrong, not okay. First statement is right, second statement is right, but third is wrong, and based on that the option would be A. Which one of the following shows a unique relation with an insect that has with it, and that is the only insect that can pollinate this? Here the answer would be fig, and it is having unique relation with this insect which also contributes in pollination of this tree. Consider the following butterfly, fish and frogs. How many of the above have poisonous species among them? All three are having poisonous species among them. So all three. Now, giant stars live much longer than dwarf stars. No, the reaction is very fast in giant star, and that's why they collapse easily within a short period of time. So statement 1 is wrong. Second statement, the compared to dwarf stars, giant stars have a greater rate of nuclear reaction. Yes, it is right, and because of that only it collapses easily and it has shorter life. So statement 1 is wrong, statement 2 is right. The answer would be D. Statement 1 is incorrect, but statement 2 is correct. This has been already discussed by science and technology teacher, that is Chandan sir, so I am skipping this question. Again, this has been discussed by Megha madam, sociology teacher, so I am again skipping this question. The next question is, the Red Sea receives very little precipitation in any form. Yes, it is in dry zone, and hot and dry wind is also present in that part, and that is having desiccating effects. So there is no almost negligible precipitation in any form. And no water enters the Red Sea from the rivers. Yes, it is right. Only one connecting point for transporting river is Suez Canal, that is artificial, that is transferring water from the Nile as well as Mediterranean to obviously Red Sea, but no river is entering or joining the Red Sea. So second statement is okay, first statement is okay, both are okay. Geography and environment discussion session ends here. Now Amit sir will be joining to discuss the polity section. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Let's look at the polity set of questions. We are using set A as the reference set, and we'll be not taking too much of your time. Mostly on the questions which actually need due explanation. And let's begin with question number 61. Who was the provisional president of the Constituent Assembly before Dr. Rajendra Prasad took over? So this is the first polity question in set A, which is our reference set. Answer is D, Dr. Sachidanand Sinha. Dr. Sachidanand Sinha was the first provisional president following the French practice of nominating senior most member, and Dr. Sinha, being the senior most member, becomes the first president. Let's look at question number 2, which is question number 62 in our current set. With reference to the Government of India Act 1935, consider the following statements. It provided for the establishment of an All India Federation based on union of the British Indian provinces. And this is the correct statement. This is factual in nature. However, this federation never came into being, and therefore statement 1 is correct. Answer is E, 1 only. Answer is 1 only. Let's look at our next question in this series, question number 3, which would be question number 66. So let's have a look at the next polity question. As per Article 368 of the Constitution of India, the Parliament may amend any provision of the Constitution by way of addition is correct, by way of variation this is also correct, and by way of repeal this is again correct. If you look at this statement, it says addition. So whenever any amendment is made, we can add a word, a comma, or a full stop, or a complete sentence, or a complete article also, or we can vary it, or we can repeat it. So for 66, our answer is all 3, which is D. Moving forward to the next question in the polity series, question number 68. 68. Which of the following statements are correct in respect of money bill in the Parliament? Article 109 mentions a special procedure. This statement is correct. Article 110, that is 110, defines money bill, but the article preceding before this, which is Article 109, mentions the special procedure, and hence this statement 1 is correct. A money bill shall not be introduced in the Council of State, that is, a money bill shall not be introduced in Rajya Sabha. This statement is correct. It can only be transmitted, cannot be introduced, but only transmitted, and hence this statement is correct. Let's look at the next statement. The Rajya Sabha can either approve the bill or suggest changes, but cannot reject it. This statement is again correct, cannot reject. With respect to money bill, Rajya Sabha has very limited power, very limited power. That is, it can hold it for 14 days, and after this, it will be automatically assumed to be passed by the Rajya Sabha in a format desired by Lok Sabha. So Rajya Sabha has only limited power, very limited power. I think there is some problem with my voice. I'll try to speak louder. I hope I'm louder now. Let's look at the next question in polity. series, which is question number 70. Question number 70 is with respect to Northeastern Council, was established by, subsequent to the amendment of NEC Act 2002, the council comprises which of the following members? So for question number 70, governor of the constituent state. Of course, the governor has to be the chief minister of the constituent state. Again, correct. 3 members to be nominated by the president of India. This is again correct. And the home minister of India. It appears to be the home minister of India, that is fourth. The home minister of India appears to be very enticing to include, but only A is the answer, which is 1, 2 and 3 only. The home minister is not part of it. Let's look at the next polity question, which is question number 71. How many delimitation commissions have been constructed by the Government of India till December 2023? The delimitation commission has been in news, especially also because of delimitation issues being the limelight in Jammu and Kashmir region, and the delimitation commission having its debate and discussion for the state election as well as the union election. So answer would be 4, and these 4 are just 1 year after the census of that year. So the first Delimitation Commission Act was passed in 1952, the second 1962, and the third in 1972. The latest one is 2002, that is the fourth Delimitation Commission Act, based on 2001 census, and hence it is D. Let's look at the next 40 question, which is question number 72. The Constitution 71st Amendment Act 1992 amends the 8th schedule to the Constitution to include which of the following languages? Konkani, Manipuri, Nepali and Maithili. But let's look at it logically, not on the basis of our knowledge. Let's say we always study in the class that the last set of languages by the 92nd Constitutional Amendment was Bodo, Dongri, Maithili, Santali. Sometimes you call it BDFS, that is Bodo, Dongri, Maithili, Santali. So Maithili becomes the part of 92nd Constitutional Amendment Act. So if we remove Maithili, we get our answer 1, 2, 3. So that is the logical bit of the answer. Despite not knowing the exact answer, we can write back the answer, and hence first question number 72, we have the answer as A, that is 1, 2 and 3. Moving forward, let's look at question number 74. Question number 74 is the next polity question. Question number 74 is the next polity question, and let's read out which of the following statements are correct about the Constitution of India. Powers of the municipalities are given in part 9A of the Constitution. This is correct. This is correct. Part 9A was added by 74th Constitutional Amendment Act, and it talks about municipalities, and the schedule related is the last schedule of Indian Constitution, that is Schedule 12. Emergency provisions are given in Part 18 of the Constitution. This is also correct. Provisions related to amendment are given in Part 20 of the Constitution. This is also correct. So answer is all correct, that is 1, 2 and 3. Let's look at the next set of questions. So our next question would be question number 75 in the polity series. Which one of the following statements, Question number 75. Which one of the following statement is correct as per the Constitution of India? Interstate trade and commerce is a state subject under state list. Just logically look at it. Let's make this fact-based question as one of logic and understanding based. Interstate anything is very difficult to be under state list. So this statement is incorrect. Interstate migration is a state subject under the state list. This is again incorrect. Interstate quarantine is a union. This is correct because this is interstate. And D, corporation tax is a state subject. Corporation tax cannot be in the state, just logically looking at it. So we have our answer, question number 75 is C. Let's look at the next quality question. So our next quality question is question number 76. Question number 76. Under which of the following articles of the Constitution of India has the Supreme Court of India placed the right to privacy? Right to privacy has always been under Article 21 of Indian Constitution, which is the right to life and personal liberty. So right to life and personal liberty is the smallest and the largest article in Indian Constitution. What is the most important thing in life? The most important thing in life is life itself. And therefore, Article 21 includes many things: right to sleep, right to clean drinking water, right to human dignity. It all starts with basically Maneka Gandhi case, and it goes further. Right to shelter, right to go abroad, all these fall under right to privacy. Moving forward, let's look at the next quality question, which is question number 80. Question number 80 is the next quality question. Let's look at this. Which of the following statements about the Ethics Committee in the Lok Sabha are correct? Ethics Committee in the Lok Sabha was recently too much in news because of one of the MPs, which was Mahua Mitra. And this, we were expecting this question to be asked, and here we are with the question in the final prelims. And therefore, many questions in our mock test on this topic, Ethics Committee. Initially, it was an ad hoc committee. Yes, initially in the 1990s, it was made as an ad hoc committee inside Rajya Sabha. So that was the initial part of it. And only a member of Lok Sabha can make a complaint relating to unethical conduct of an MP Lok Sabha. So I would say that as per our notes and as per the discussion in the class, we already know that anybody can make a complaint through a Lok Sabha MP. So a Lok Sabha MP is involved, but not only he, but anybody can make a complaint through a Lok Sabha MP. And hence the statement is incorrect. This committee cannot take up any matter which is sub judice. This is correct, and therefore for 80 answer is C. Moving forward, the next question in the polity series is 83. Writ of prohibition is an order issued by the Supreme Court or High Court. We keep on studying about the special power of Supreme Court and High Court under Article 32, that is Supreme Court jurisdiction of Supreme Court, in Article 246, that is the writ jurisdiction of High Court. And it's a very straightforward, simple question. It's sometimes also called this writ of prohibition, sometimes also called a stay order. And for 83, answer is C, to the lower court prohibiting continuation of proceeding in a case, and not just the lower court, but to a quasi-judicial bodies also. So that's about this question. And next question is question number 84 in the polity series, following statements. It is the governor of the state who recognizes and declares any community of the state as a scheduled tribe. Statement is incorrect because it is the President of India. However, the governor is consulted. He does not declare. He is consulted. Okay. So therefore, statement 1 is incorrect for question number 84. Let's read the next statement. A community declared as a scheduled tribe in a state need not be so in another state. This statement is correct, and therefore for question number 84, answer is B, that is 2 only. This is correct. So the list is a state-wise, and the same community could be NSC another state, and in another state it could be ST. So this is how the list varies as per the state. And next question is question number 85. So let's look at question number 85. With reference to the union budget, consider the following statement. The Union Finance Minister on behalf of the Prime Minister leaves the annual financial statement to both the House of the Parliament. The Union Finance Minister on behalf of the Prime Minister, question number 85, it is on behalf of the President of India, not the Prime Minister. And therefore, this statement is not correct. At the union level, no demand for plan can be made except on the recommendation of the President of India. And this statement is correct because we keep on reading about the annual financial statement in Article 113, Clause 3. And this statement is directly lifted out of the Constitution from this Clause 3 of Article 113. At the union level, no demand for plan can be made except on the recommendation of the President of India. Hence, the ratified answer is B, that is 2. Let's look at question number 93, which is the next question with respect to polity. Question number 93, with reference to the Speaker of the Lok Sabha, consider the following statements. While any resolution for the removal of the Speaker of Lok Sabha is under consideration, he shall not preside. This is part of the natural justice which we keep on studying. No person can be a judge in his own case. So statement 1 is incorrect. Is this correct? He or she shall not preside. This is a correct statement. He shall not have the right to speak. No, he will have the right to speak and to participate without having the right to preside. So right to participation is there, and he or she shall not be entitled to vote on the resolution in the first instance. So this is also incorrect, and therefore for question number 93, A is the answer. Let's look at the last couple of questions in the polity series, which is question number 94. For question number 94, we have with reference to the Indian Parliament, consider the following statement: a bill pending in Lok Sabha. This is quite factual in nature, so we are not going to go into too much of detail, and we are going to directly come up with the answer, which is about question number 94. Answer would be B, Bombay. And we're moving forward. This is factual in nature. At question number 95, that is the last question in the polity series. With reference to the Parliament of India, consider the following statements: prorogation of a house. I hope you guys know the difference between prorogation. Okay, but anyway, prorogation of a house by the President of India does not require the advice of the Council of Ministers. This is incorrect in the sense that the President is bound by the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers headed by the Prime Minister. Keep on repeating this phrase. And prorogation of a house by the President of India does not require the advice. This is an incorrect statement. Prorogation of a house is generally done after the house adjourns in a die, but an adjournment in a die is done by the presiding officer. In the Lok Sabha, it's the Speaker, but there is no bar to the President of India prorogating the house which is in session. This is also correct. Dissolution of the Lok Sabha is done by the President of India, who accepts in certain circumstances does so on the advice of the Council of Ministers. This statement is also correct. So this will be the last polity questions, and that will be all for today. You guys, it's almost 10 and we have wrapped it on time, and so that will be all. We are expecting a slightly higher cutoff, looking at the difficulty level of the paper, and hope you all clear the exam with flying colors. And that's all from my side, and signing off. That's all. Thank you. Thank you.